everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Wire's live coverage of Turning Point's AmericaFest. It has been an amazing weekend. We've still got a whole lot more coming your way. I am your co-host, Cabot Phillips, joined, as always, by Daily Wire senior reporter Mary Margaret Olahan.
That's right. There's still so much to come, including, of course, the main event, President Donald J. Trump, who will be taking the stage in just a few short hours. So stay tuned. You do not want to miss it. And who better to kick things off today than the man who played a massive role in getting Trump elected, Turning Point founder Charlie Kirk.
Hello, guys. Good to see you. Cabot, we've known each other for a while.
A long time. I believe it was 2015. You had the first. It wasn't called AmericaFest back then.
It was called Winter in West Palm Beach.
And you guys had maybe 150 people there?
If we were rounding up.
What is it like going from that, less than 10 years later, you guys have conservative Coachella popping off here, bigger than anything going on in the world?
Wholesome conservative.
Exactly.
Hopefully, I don't know everything that's happening here, but just praise God. It's just been an amazing journey, honestly, and right place, right time. Couldn't have done it without the president and his family that believed in us and came and spoke at our events. And it's been a big building process throughout the years. And as you know, it's not like there were no conservative events. There's a lot of conservative events, and it was a cluttered space, and we felt as if we could bring an energy and a spark to the space that didn't exist. But also, we have a great grassroots infrastructure as well that plays into the events, from the high school chapters, the college chapters, from the infrastructure that we've built. So that really helps. And then, the president is going to keynote it. So we're thrilled about it.
Okay, Charlie, we want to dive right in with who would your top 3 primary list be?
Well, yeah, so just so everyone knows, I find it very perplexing that Joe Biden gets all of his nominees and Republicans are happy to vote for many of them. Some Republicans. Donald Trump, some Republicans give a harder time to Donald Trump's nominees than Joe Biden's nominees. There are Republicans that voted for Merrick Garland. There are Republicans that voted for Mayorkas. There's Republicans that voted for Lloyd Austin with no questions. And yet when it comes to Donald Trump's nominees, it's like the most challenging thing. So we at Turning Point Action, Turning Point PAC are going to measure twice and cut once. We're going to find Republican senators that have the following criteria. Number 1, they're in deep, deep, deep red states. So if we were to replace them, there will not be a general election issue, right? So we don't want to try to go after someone like Tom Tillis, who I'm not a huge fan of, who might be in a razor-thin race in North Carolina, which would lose us a Senate seat. So we're not here to be reckless or irresponsible. Number 2, we're going to find people that have a repeated pattern of not listening to the will of their voters on very core issues that matter to them: border, immigration, foreign aid, size and scope of government, and then, of course, whether or not they voted for Trump's impeachment and also Trump's cabinet. And the final thing is this: is that we want to try to create not a lesson, but I guess that's one way to say it, where senators, if get out of line, they will be removed. So anyways, that's the criteria. Number 1 is obviously Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. He voted for the impeachment of Donald Trump. People don't remember that. Bill Cassidy voted for the impeachment of Donald Trump. He's trying to play like he's some sort of friend of Donald Trump now. He's got to go. He has routinely been the biggest supporter of sending money to Ukraine, despite our border being wide open, which is not popular with the voters of Louisiana. So he's on the top of the list. From there, there's other ones. I don't think Joni Ernst quite make that criteria. Not a fan of hers, obviously, for what she did recently with Pete Hegseth. However, she's going to be in a competitive race, and so we don't want to have to try to. And here's how it would work. If we were to remove Joni Ernst, the National Republican Senate groups would be like, oh, your fault. They would rather make an example out of us than make an example out of Joni Ernst. So we're trying to be wiser than that. The other people on the list that are interesting to look at is Mike Rounds in South Dakota, who's up this year. Risch in Idaho, who's also up this year. Shelley Moore Capito in West Virginia, who's in leadership. And there needs to be consequences when you don't listen to the will of the voters. So we'll see how they vote for the cabinet. That will definitely play into this. Bill Cassidy, there's nothing he can do at this point. He voted to impeach Donald Trump, of which we believe you need to be retired.
What sort of role do you believe that President Trump would have in those elections? Would he be out on the trail with those folks?
No, I don't think so. However, I think his silence will be the most powerful thing. Not endorsing a candidate will end up being an endorsement, if that were to happen. Because, look, he has to still work with the U.S. Senate. He's got to get ambassadors through. He's got to do stuff. But I don't imagine him endorsing challengers. Bill Cassidy, he might. I don't want to speak for him or for his team, but someone who actually voted to impeach him, I think that would probably reach to a level where he might do something, but probably not. I will say more confidently that if he doesn't endorse, it kind of leaves this very open chasm. But look, Mike Rounds has been the number 1 supporter of sending aid overseas to Ukraine. Couldn't care less about the southern border. Risch as well from Idaho. So it's going to be primary season sometime soon.
Yeah, and what role would Turning Point play in that?
Heavy role. I mean, from Turning Point Action, Turning Point PAC, from drafting the candidates to invigorating the grassroots, from raising money for independent expenditures to ballot chasing. Republican primaries are different than general elections.
Yes.
Their turnout, high energy, enthusiasm. And again, our ask is not something extreme. You know, the Washington, insiders are trying to say Turning Point is just trying to cause problems.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really. They're the ones that cause the problems for not listening to their voters. Like, if you vote like Ted Cruz or vote like Mike Lee, we think you're a hero.
Yeah.
You decided to vote a certain way that is against what your voters want. We just want a Republican Party that is as conservative as its voters. And some people would say, and it sounds good, oh, well, Charlie, we just won a huge election. Why are you picking these fights? That's exactly actually why. Because the people gave us a mandate, and the senators aren't listening to that mandate.
Yeah.
And so it's time for some sorting out.
In your opening speech, which, by the way, the environment was insane. The room, 20,000 people, the USA chants. I've never seen anything like it. You opened your speech by saying, now is not the time for us to take our foot off the gas. So, as you encourage people to not get complacent, what is the roadmap? First 100 days, what's sort of your hierarchy of priorities for legislating?
Yeah, the first thing is personnel. So President Trump deserves his cabinet. He deserves Russ Vought, to Kash Patel, to Pete Hegseth, to Pam Bondi, to Bobby Kennedy, to Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, it's a rock star team. We need personnel in the first 30 days. 30 days, the Senate has to act. You got to work weekends. They got to work at night. You got to do advise and consent and get it done. President Trump has thousands of people he needs to put in positions, hundreds of which are Senate confirmed.
Yeah.
And the Senate has to get his ambassadors top to bottom. You know that certain ambassadorships were not confirmed for a year and a half back during the first administration. That is not going to happen. The Senate has to get off their tail with 53 Senate seats. You guys can do this with a simple majoritarian vote. It does not require cloture. It does not require 60 votes. Just confirm and move on. The second of which, there'll be an interesting spirited conversation. This is just Charlie Kirk speaking, not the transition team, of whether or not Clarence Thomas and Alito resign. And I think that needs to be a really robust conversation. I mean, I think Clarence Thomas is like the greatest Supreme Court justice ever.
Yeah.
However, I think we all understand that, Father Time and, no one lives forever. And the way the Supreme Court is constituted, would it make sense for us to have two of our best justices retire while we have 53 Senate seats and replace them with a couple, 36-year-old super-based constitutional judges? That's an interesting conversation that I think we need to have. And then finally is the border, is that President Trump needs to get a border bill in the first 45 days. And not a border bill like the one Langford was pushing. We need specific and explicit funding for mass deportations, for border wall security, so that we can securitize the border so that when a Democrat president, which there will be another Democrat president in our lifetime, comes in office, the funding is already there, so we can never have an open border again.
Charlie, I love seeing what Media Matters has to say about you.
Oh, they're my PR team.
Well, their latest thing was they were very upset that you said you occasionally talked to President Donald Trump.
Why is that news? I don't understand. It was the weirdest news article, right?
Why do you think that makes them so upset?
I mean, I think they were just doing a headline. I think it makes upset because, who is Charlie to be able to call the president? But that's kind of been the case since 2018, I guess. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't read their motives there.
Hi, Media Matters.
Oh, no, by the way,
say hi to Charlie.
They have a ferocious obsession with the Charlie Kirk show. It's amazing for PR.
Yeah.
Podcast charts go up because of it.
Thank you. We'll send them a Christmas basket
Please.
this year.
No, seriously.
So we talked at the RNC about how in past elections there had been optimism that this would be the election young people broke for Republicans, and it hadn't come to fruition. And you said this one's going to be different. You said, mark my words, it's going to be different.
I think I said that with you guys in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yep, especially with young men, you said, and we saw that, and even young women.
Find that tape because
it's prescient.
Yes.
What was the ultimate driving factor there?
Well, look, young men, they broke almost 15 points in the Republican direction. It was 22 points favored back for Democrats in 2018. So, I mean, that's a remarkable shift. Number one is young men want to be part of a political movement that doesn't hate them. Yeah. And if when you tell a certain portion of the population, you're awful, you're terrible, you're responsible for all the ills, eventually that message is going to be received.
Yeah.
But look, I would say this, that we've been, the most quoted quote in conservative politics is what? Politics flows downstream from culture, from Andrew Breitbart. You hear it all the time. And it happens to be really true. However, I think we're in a new alignment where politics and culture are kind of mirror images of one another.
Right.
That we kind of live in a co-equal politics cultural landscape that are in harmony. And so President Trump does not deserve credit for this. I mean, I'm sorry, let me say this again. He has not received the credit he deserves for this, where he ran an outright cultural campaign, where it wasn't like heavy on policy, I mean, his 20 policy points were awesome, but it wasn't like, let me give a 45-minute speech with macroeconomic data.
Right.
It was much more cultural, like, it's wrong that men are in female sports.
Right.
These people are invading your country. Like, it was very cultural. It was also just very much driven on this persona that our country is collapsing and our country is falling apart. And young men in particular were sick of the toxic femininity that was suffocating our land. Again, I'm all for femininity and masculinity when they're properly yoked together and balanced, but we have gone way too feminine in a toxic way, feelings-based, emotional support groups. You can't use reason. You must always allow, the person who complains the most to basically get the highest prize. It's just, it's not a way to run a civilization. Donald Trump is like the opposite of toxic femininity. He is the most masculine political figure ever, right? Yeah. Unapologetic, the red tie, I will come in, I will, call my enemies whatever I want. Yeah. And young men saw in that a kind of a much needed pent-up cultural rebellion.
Yeah.
What are you noticing from Trump and from your personal conversations with him that's different heading into this administration than last time?
I will say this, as far as the Trump team goes, the amount of focus on getting good people in the administration is wonderful. I mean, is just terrific. Sergio, who's doing a great job running the personnel office, the whole team, Don Jr., J.D. Vance, they're all involved intimately. And the president, he wants to have change makers. I mean, he very well could have picked a very simple and boring HHS secretary, but it wasn't just Bobby Kennedy. It's Marty McCary, who was terrific on COVID, Jay Bhattacharya. And if you remember back in the primary, one of the criticisms that people would throw against President Trump is that you didn't learn your lesson from COVID and so on and so forth. Well, these personnel picks are pretty awesome, actually, across the board. And then also, I will say that from a deeper standpoint, in 2017, it really was shock and awe. Exile was very good for us. The 4 years of not being in power, we were able to really study, really think, what would we do if we got the opportunity again? And you're going to see what happens.
Yeah. And really quick, I wanted to follow up on that. The J.D. Vance-Don Jr. combo, when we were all in Milwaukee, I know there was a lot going on behind the scenes. We weren't sure how that was going to pan out.
Yeah.
What kind of impact do you think that combo is going to have on this next administration?
I think it'll be profound. I mean, I'm J.D.'s biggest supporter and fan, and I've been pushing for him enthusiastically. I was one of his first Senate endorsements when he was running in Ohio. I traveled the state with him in the car, campaigning for him in the primary.
Right.
So it was way before that. And so then obviously we pushed hard, and he got to be the vice presidential candidate and now the VP, which is just awesome. I think you're going to have a younger, more, let's just say, sophisticated approach to personnel that represents the genre of conservatism that we feel as if has been missing at the highest levels.
Final question. Got to put you on the spot a bit. We've heard some rumblings, people saying we want Charlie to run for governor in Arizona in the future. Is that fake news? Could we see something like that?
It is fake news. It's funny. I wanted to let the rumor grow for as long as possible. When I have staff calling me, I'm like, all right, I gotta. Yeah. But here's the thing. I love Arizona. We are going to get rid of Katie Hobbs. I think what we're doing at Turning Point is profoundly important. I do not believe I'm at a place yet where I can leave it, and we have maximized our potential. We have a lot of fights left on the cultural and the political side. So going to keep on pouring into this, and I think what we're doing here is arguably more important than just a singular governorship. I know that might sound a little prideful,
No, it's true.
But I think what we're doing is having widespread 50-country reach. So the answer is no.
There are going to be a lot of your supporters, though, that hear the line, not at a place yet, and they are filled with hope over that. But we'll leave it there.
We'll see. I do love Arizona. We'll see.
Charlie Kirk,
thank you.
Appreciate your time, all you're doing.
Thank
Turning
you.
Point founder
Thank
Charlie Kirk. You know him. I don't need to say that. We are joined now by a man who really has become a hero to a lot of Americans who are so excited to see what he and the Trump administration are going to do in the next 4 years. That is border czar Tom Homan. Tom, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
So, a lot to get to. Let's start with day one. What can you tell the American people that they can look forward to from you and
Day one, we got three rails of priorities. Number one is secure the border. Number two is run the biggest deportation operation we've seen. And third is to start looking for the 340,000 children that are missing in this country, that were smuggled in this country by cartels, released to unvetted sponsors, and we got to find these kids. So that's the three rails the president has signed me. It all starts January 20th.
Amazing. And we wanted to get your take, first of all, on the Biden administration selling off these border wall materials, as we reported at Daily Wire. Give us your take on this, and what do you plan to do about this?
Well, so much for President Biden saying there's going to be a smooth transition, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to sabotage us coming in and taking care of what the American people demanded during the election. We got a mandate, and we're going to do it. It's a shame that they're selling the border wall on pennies on the dollar. The American taxpayers paid top dollar for that. And now we got to buy it again because he's selling at pennies on the dollar. But the good thing is I've been contacted by one of the companies that have bought some of that product. They'll give it to us exactly what they paid for it on the pennies on the dollar. So God bless that company. Until we have an agreement in place, I'm not going to mention the company. I won't give them credit until we actually get it done. But we got one company at least being patriotic. So, you know what, this isn't right. We'll give it back to what we paid for it.
What are some other potential landmines that the Biden administration could be setting to try and undermine your work before they get out of office?
Well, look, they're working very closely with the NGOs and other groups to try to increase their sanctuary city presence. They're talking to major governors and mayors to try to thwart our efforts. And a lot more mayors and governors speaking out and say they're going to try to prevent us from doing this job. They're still flying thousands in every day. And it's just I would think they learned a lesson from the election. They didn't. They're pouting, they're mad, they're kicking and screaming. And you know what? Do what you want to do. Try to prevent us. You're not going to. We're going to get this done, with or without them. It's coming. So you can continue trashing this. You can continue putting roadblocks up. We'll crash through the roadblocks. We're not going to let these people shut this down. We're going to get this done.
Amazing.
I'm fired up right now.
Can we talk more about those many, many children that are missing, the unaccompanied children that came across the border? What kinds of plans do you have to retrieve these kids or to find them?
Well, look, I've been honest right from day one that this is going to be one of the most difficult things we've ever done, because without giving away a lot of law enforcement sensitive information, I can tell you we all have a footprint. We all have the digital footprint, right? You own a home, you own a car, you have a credit card, you pay bills. Children don't have a footprint. So we're going to have to count on the footprint of the sponsors they release them to. And from what I'm hearing from some of the whistleblowers, some of these sponsors weren't even fingerprinted. Some of these sponsors, their vetting was very poor, so we don't even know if they are who they claim they are. So it's going to be hard, but what I've been saying the last couple of weeks is we're going to deputize every American citizen to help us find these children, because parents have an innate skill to notice when something's not right with a child. Whether you see a child at a workplace that looks obviously too young to work, or if you see a child with an adult that just don't seem right, parents have that sense. I'm a parent. I have that sense.
Yeah.
We're going to provide ways through an 1-800 number and websites so they can call in and say, look, something just doesn't right here. And look, I don't want to be afraid of people making mistakes. If 1 out of 1,000 calls turns out to rescue a child, that's worth it, right?
Yeah.
Because I tell you, based on my 3.5 decades doing this job, a lot of these children are going to be in forced sexual slavery. Many are going to be in forced labor. And not all of them, but many of them are living a life of hell every day, and we got to rescue these children. We'll do the immigration consequences afterwards. First is their health and safety and rescuing them. I guarantee you, we're going to find some of these children in horrendous conditions.
You mentioned earlier some of these Democratic mayors and governors who have already stated their intention to defy your immigration policies. Would you support cutting federal funding to those cities and states if they do not go along?
It's going to happen. You know, let me say this. If you don't want to help us remove public safety, we've been clear. We're going right out of the gate, target on community threats, public safety threats, national security threats. For any elected mayor, elected governor saying you want to stop us from removing public safety threats, I don't understand that, because their number one responsibility is to protect the communities. You don't want to help us? Get the hell out of the way. So we're going to do it. We're coming. You're not stopping us. I'd rather have you as a partner, but don't cross that line. Don't actively impede us. Don't hide. Don't knowingly conceal and harbor a known illegal alien, because that is a felony. There's a federal laws against that stuff. As an agent, I arrested U.S. citizens many years ago when I was an agent. I've arrested U.S. citizens for harboring an illegal alien in their home and place of employment. If I can do an average U.S. citizen 20 years ago, I can certainly do it to anybody today who wants to do that. So if you don't want to help us, fine. Shame on you. But get the hell out of the way, because we're coming.
And following up on that, would you pursue legal action against employers or any government officials or even private citizens who are working to keep illegal immigrants here?
Look, I won't be prosecuting, but we'll ask for a prosecution from the United States Attorney's Office. But worksite, that's another thing. Worksite enforcement's coming back. Yeah. And people say, well, it's going to be hard on the economy. Look, worksite enforcement operations is the number one place we find victims of labor, of forced labor, right? We'll find them in factories. We'll find them in, massage parlors. We'll find them many places. The worksite enforcement is coming back. And I'll say this. No one hires an illegal alien out of the goodness of their heart. They hire them because they work them harder, pay them less, and undercut their competition who employs U.S. citizens. True story. I had to put a roof in my house a few years ago. I had to call 5 or 6 companies until I got a company that would guarantee me a legal workforce, and I told them I was going to check.
Wow.
A father and son showed up at my home. They had a small company. Used to have 20 U.S. citizen employees. Now it's just him and his son because he had to shut his company down and lay off 20 U.S. citizen employees because he couldn't win any bids. Because he was paying $20 an hour for a U.S. citizen to get on the roof. Some of these companies were paying $7 an hour to illegal aliens. He couldn't win a bid. He couldn't win a job. So he had to lay off 20 U.S. citizen employees. That happens across this country every day. We got to stop it.
Do you have concerns about bad actors within DHS or within your own potential future department that are going to be working against you to put a stop to the work you're trying to do?
Well, God help them, because we'll be looking for those bad actors. Look, we pretty much know where the bodies are buried. We know who's who. The President of the United States is coming in with an agenda. If you don't like the agenda, they get another job. If you don't get another job, we'll get you another job. But the President's not going to put up with this stuff. We just had a resounding election where the American people want certain things done. The President of the United States committed to it. Look, President Trump's coming back. I don't care if you like him or not like him. He's a badass president who's going to make America great again. He's going to make America safe again, and we're going to enforce the laws in this country. This administration, the Biden administration, has not only ignored the law, they've actually violated the law in many ways. And there's going to be a lot of oversight investigation of what exactly happened in this administration, and people need to be held accountable.
What is your message to the cartels who've had free reign over our border for so long?
Your days are numbered. Criminal cartels have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And President Trump's going to designate them terrorist organization. He's going to wipe them off the face of the earth. It's going to take this country to do it. Mexico's not going to do it. These cartels have military-grade equipment. They've killed thousands of journalists and judges and politicians. That's coming to an end. They're on notice. And President Trump is committed to shutting that down. And I can't wait for that to happen because they've killed so many Americans with poisonous fentanyl. They're making record profits in sex trafficking women and children. It's coming to an end. We've got a great president coming in just a few more weeks, and I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, your attitude is interesting. I was going to say you're determined, but it seems more than that. What would you describe your attitude going into this?
I'm not waiting. I've already started.
Yeah.
I've been in Texas meeting with Governor Abbott about finishing the great work he's done. Yeah. I've met with a National Sheriff's Association. I've talked to 100 of sheriffs that want to step up and help us do this. I'm starting to talk to mayors across the city, putting them on notice. Here's what we're doing. Either help us get out of the way because we're doing it. I've already talked to a lot of different people who want to come into administration. I had to shut down my LinkedIn website. I have a LinkedIn account. I shut it down because I got thousands and thousands of contacts. Thousands of retired military, thousands of retired police officers, thousands of retired Border Patrol and ICE agents who want to come back and do this job. And we're looking forward to bringing them back and helping us do this job.
It's amazing.
We know there have been an untold number of millions of people who've crossed our border illegally, and at least a few hundred of those individuals have been on the terror watch list. What can be done specifically to find those individuals, and is there a priority to get them out first?
Oh yeah, priorities: public safety threats and national security threats. And there's a lot of criminals and bad people to find in this country because if you look at the data, you compare the Trump administration and the Biden administration. The deportation of illegal aliens with a criminal conviction has decreased 74% under the Biden administration. So we got all those criminals to look for, plus the criminals that came across the border in the last 4 years. And look, we just talked about, they didn't vet these people properly. Secretary Mayorkas gets up and says, well, everybody we released was vetted, and they're okay. They're not vetted properly because you don't have access to other countries' criminal data. Do you think El Salvador is sharing criminal data with us? Number one, I don't even think they have a system like NCIC. So, you can say they're vetted. They're vetted against NCI databases, which is our database. So unless they commit a crime here, we don't know if they're bad guys, right? As far as the vetting for terrorists, here's what people need to know. Most terrorists in this world aren't in any database. Unless they're caught on a wiretap or a T3, or unless they're encountered on a battlefield by DOD and a retina scan was done or some sort of biometrics information was taken, we don't know who they are. So that's why first day we got end, catch, and release. They're not going to be released in the country. And when we end, catch, and release, and the entries drop considerably, that puts every one of the 20,000 border patrol agents back on that line to secure the border. That means less gotaways, less people on terrorist watch lists coming through, less fentanyl coming across to kill Americans, less sex trafficking, because 100% border patrol will be on the line doing their job. Under this administration, up to 70% of agents have been pulled off patrol to change diapers, make baby formula, make hospital runs, right? In some sectors this past year, 100% of border patrol agents were pulled off the line in certain sectors to deal with the overcrowding. There's been days on the southern border where there wasn't a single green uniform on patrol. You don't think the cartels had a field day with that? So because of that, we have a lot of public safety threats and national security threats to find, and that's what we're going to hit day one right out of the gate.
Amazing. And last question for you. We already know how the media comes after figures like yourself, especially when we're dealing with this topic. Do you have concerns about media coming after you heading into this next year?
You know, I'm not running a popularity contest. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. As long as my family and my Lord and Savior thinks I'm doing a good job, I'm good. So look, they're attacking me already. There's hit pieces on me all the time. And actually, you know, I kind of like it. Because then I realize I can live in their heads rent free. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Wake up every day with them hating me. I'm okay with that. And number two, I get tired. Ever since Trump announced me, I've been across the country. I've been home in 3 weeks. I get tired, and some mornings I get up and I'm tired. You always wonder, am I making a difference? Yeah. I'm not in the job yet, but am I making a difference? Then I read a hit piece. That pours gas in my fire. Ready to go. So, look, I got a lot of death threats. I'm not with my family right now. I got them someplace else. It's just incredible. We're living in a world today, in a country. I grew up knowing I was always going to be a cop. My dad was a cop. My grandpa was a cop. I knew what I was going to do. Cops used to be respected. Now we're living in a world with a lot of these sanctuary cities where those who enforce the law are the bad guys, those who broke the law are the victims. Well, we're going to change that back around. So I'm going to be unapologetic. I'm going to do my job. If you don't like what Tom Homan's doing, then scream at Congress. Because I'm just enforcing laws that Congress wrote and enacted, signed by a president. We're not making this stuff up. Right. So as long as those laws are on the books, we're going to enforce them without apology. If you want to come at me, come at me. I don't care. You're not going to shut me up. I'm not going to go away. I'm going to do this job. I can't wait to do this job. So bring it. Bring it.
If anyone is making a difference, it is Tom Homan, and we appreciate your work. Our audience does as well, so thanks so much for making time for us today.
Well, it will make a big difference. I can't wait till Kristi Noem gets through her confirmation. Kristi Noem is going to be a rock star. We all know President Trump, who has to be the greatest president of my lifetime. We got the A-team.
Yes.
And people are going to see, starting day one, what this team is going to do for this country. We're going to make this country safe again. When we secure that border, it means less fentanyl overdose. It means less sex trafficking. It means less of the tragedies we've seen in this country. Less Laken Riley's. God rest her soul. You know, we're going to put an end to it. Yeah. And I can't wait. We're going to save lives, and we're going to make this country great.
A lot of people very excited to follow your work and the work you're already doing. So, again, Tom, thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
All right, not a Daily Wire Plus member. Now is the time to join. Get 6 months of Daily Wire Plus for free when you purchase an annual membership now. That is a full year of uncensored daily shows, groundbreaking entertainment, and investigative journalism for half the price. Your support is not just a membership, it is the fight for truth. Every single dollar goes back into the battle to fight the left and build the future. So go to dailywire.com/subscribe to join today for half the price.
Do the Trump dance. Do the Trump dance.
All right, we're joined now by a man that really needs no introduction. If you've spent more than 5 minutes online, you have seen this man's content. He is the meme lord of the conservative movement. He is Benny Johnson. Benny, it's good to see you.
Cabot Phillips is an absolute original gangster. Y'all don't understand, okay? Is this straight down the barrel? Here we go. Original gangster. I knew this kid when it was like Media Research Center.
Yeah.
It was like a man on the street interviews. Absolute OG in D.C. Hustling, grinding, nose to the grindstone, freaking hand to the flint. And now look at him. Alpha Chad beard. Look at that high testosterone.
Who would have thought?
Look at this high T beard.
And father.
Yes, and father.
Let's
That's
talk
right.
about that because you have 4 children now.
Yes.
And one of the main things that you talk about is how fatherhood is a gift, it is a blessing, and how purposeful it is for young men. What is your message to young men about why they need to get married and have kids?
Yeah, so fatherhood, a couple things. Fatherhood reorients your life to serve others. And as a man, and as sunken human beings, we are innately selfish. The moment you hold your newborn child in your arms, as you have done recently, congratulations,
Thank you.
as I have done and I'm about to do for the 4th time in a month. The moment you hold that child in your arms, a couple things happen. One, you recognize that this is a gift from God himself. Yeah. You recognize that this is angelic. It's like the spiritual moment for every man. 2, you become a protector immediately in that moment. And 3, you become so humbled because the miracle and mystery of life is unexplained. And you're humbled before God. Yeah. And it is good for a man to be humbled before God. Yeah. Listen, dude, I'll tell you this. Somebody comes into my house, I'll blow them away, all right? I live in Florida, dude, okay? I live in Castle. I'll get an award, okay? Somebody steps to my porch to, like, harm my family. I will not even hesitate. Yeah. I will go sleep on my pillow right afterwards. Yeah. Okay, I won't even lose sleep. That's how indifferent I am to to the rest of the world. And as a man, you're kind of like you grow hard to that, right? Yeah. As a man and a professional, you sort of grow like that's why men fight wars. Yeah. And then you have a child, and it just freaking melts you to the core, and you realize the value of human life. It rewires you as a man. And you become a protector. Instead of like a killer or like a monster, like I think men are generally designed to be, you become a protector, and it opens up something totally different in your heart. I never knew I could love like the way I love my 2 girls. And I have a son as well, but I'm a little rougher on him.
Yeah. What do you make of the embrace we've seen from young people of like traditional values? Like I think in the past, a lot of young people are like, well, I might be fiscally conservative, but on social issues, I don't want to. They want to ruffle feathers. Yeah. Now I see so many young people who are like, I don't care what culture says about me. Like I'm trying to like preserve our culture, go back to the traditions we had. Yes. What's driving that?
Thank you for saying that, because there was a pernicious thread when you were coming up and when I was coming up that was like, no, it's totally lame to be a social conservative, right? Let's just care about the economy. Well, there is no economy if we have no children. Yeah. Sorry for the yelling. I'm sorry. I'll calm down. I'll have a sip of water. There is no economy if we don't reproduce as a species. Yeah. Okay? I know, obviously, Ben Shapiro is very big on this. Yeah. I know, obviously, Matt Walsh is very big on this. I know the Daily Wire is very big on this. And if the cameras could spin around and show the entire production staff, it's nothing but guys with giant beards, okay, at the Daily Wire and tattoos. It's a freaking rip-roaring, testosterone-filled company. Yeah. It's awesome to have stake in the country. And without children, you are not a shareholder in this country. Not money, it's children and owning land that make you an actual shareholder in the nation. Yeah. And then you say, and then suddenly everything locks in, you're like, that's what America First is all about. America First is about leaving in America for my American children because that's their birthright, damn it. And the money, it can all go away. Like the money's being inflated out of existence. Bitcoin, don't know, I don't know. Yeah. I invest in Fartcoin. Fartcoin is what I think is going to get my kids rich one day. All in on Fartcoin. What I'm saying is, it's actually not true and not financial advice. What I'm saying is that the actual riches of a man is found in the spiritual existence of the perpetuation of his values and the country through his children. Last thing I'll say on this, because I know it's a rant. Talk to billionaires. There are so many channels out there that speak to billionaires. My man Cabot over here did Man on the Streets. Yeah. He's such a killer at them, and he still does them. Do you have these dudes who go up and talk to these guys in their Lambos, right, and talk to these guys in their G-Wagons, and what does every single billionaire say? Old dude sitting back with a cigar in Miami, he's like, I wish I had more time with my kids. Yeah. Like, I wish my kids liked me. Yeah. I wish my kids voluntarily wanted to spend time with me. These guys have all the wealth and money and women in the world, and all they want is to see their kids again.
Yeah.
And so let that be like an example of what truly matters in life. Look through it through that lens, the lens of God. Yeah.
One billionaire that I want to see do those man on the street interviews is Donald Trump, because he's the rare exception of a billionaire who does have wonderful relationships with his children. It's a wonderful thing to see. So,
and Elon.
And Elon as well.
He's got 12 kids. Dude.
Elon is doing his part to combat the fertility crisis.
12 kids.
So let's talk about the
team. Don't pull out.
The Maha. I want to pull out of this interview right now because you're just.
Wait, you took that? You didn't take that sexually. What I mean, what I mean is Elon Musk's a very aggressive man, right? Yeah. He's very good at business, right? He stakes his claim.
Yeah,
and a good father.
I want to talk about the Maha movement, which you've you've been a part of for a while, even before it was trendy. So many young conservatives now also waking up to the fact of, hey, it's not a liberal thing to want drinking water that's free of chemicals that are going to neuter me. Yeah. It's not a liberal thing to not want big corporations pumping my food full of all of these unnecessary additives and preservatives that are literally going to make it harder for me to have children. That's not liberal.
No.
And what does that say about the future of the conservative movement, that they have, with open arms, embraced the idea of conserving our health and conserving our food and water supply?
Right. So it's like, wait a second. You go to young men and you're like, do you or do you not want microplastics in your balls? You talk to a young man and you do that poll. And I will show you why young men have swung hard to the right. Okay? And because it does feel like we're being poisoned. We do have half the testosterone that our grandfathers had. Why is that exactly? Okay? Clearly not a problem at the Daily Wire because everyone has a giant Gandalf beard around here. But and I wish I could grow one. But it is a problem that is being finally spoken about. And I think that's like very important for us to talk about, because a lot of dudes, like young dudes come up to me and tell me it's really like they have trouble. This is the common thing, and I'm not going to name any names, but it's like something that happens once a day where young people say they're having a hard time having kids. They're in a beautiful relationship. They got married. And it's like, it's tough. And it seemed like so easy for their grandparents.
Yeah.
And like, we should ask that question. How are we going to save our species? How are we going to perpetuate Americans? I want 1 billion Americans. Yeah. I do. I want this country to have 1 billion Americans that like are here and were born here and like love this place and would make us a strong, beautiful country and share our past and history. But we're not going to do it by poisoning ourselves. You're exactly right. Maha is it, dude. Yeah. It's amazing. Even backstage, there's no more like full-size candy bars. It's affecting Turning Point.
Yeah.
RFK has totally like red-pilled and white-pilled Turning Point. There used to be full-size Snickers bars backstage. And now
there's just raw milk being consumed. And
just raw milk fest,
yep.
Okay?
And some liver meat.
And Matt Walsh out there. Matt Walsh there with 2 jugs of raw milk.
We got to
with Alex Clark. Yeah.
We got to get Walsh
backstage,
on the raw milk train.
Yeah.
So, final question.
Filming for his OnlyFans.
Final question.
Yeah.
And this one is totally random, but I got to get your take on it. Benny, what is going on with the drones? What is going on?
Dude, it's our government. It has to be. How cucked are we as a nation, right? If you can fly, if you're a foreign power and you can fly like thousands of drones over an American state, that's right next to New York, that's like obviously a primo terrorist target, it has to be our government. And that question is why? Why would our government do this? What like operation are they planning? It makes me very scared. I know too many military men and women. I know you do too. Anybody who lived in the DMV knows this, right, and worked there. There's no way that our government's allowing a foreign power to do this. It's an act of war, bro. Like it's a pure on act of war. They have the lights on for a reason, because they don't want to. They want to tell people they're there, right? If you wanted to be mysterious, you fly it at night without any lights on.
Yeah.
So who's running it? What op is it? Pentagon's lying to us. Somebody's lying to us.
Yeah. Our government.
And I don't know. Yeah, it's our government.
Wouldn't lie to
us.
Yeah,
it's like, but what is it? If I were to guess, I'd say it's another East Palestine. I'd say there's something bad that happened and they're trying to cover it up or find it or prevent something from happening and they're embarrassed about it. Remember, we only knew about the Chinese spy balloon because some homie was there in Wyoming with a telephoto lens. And he was like, what the hell is this? It's not Jupiter. And we found out about the spy balloon because somebody saw it with their camera lens.
Yeah.
And so the government lied to us the whole way. Something's going on with those. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's government. I think it's some kind of secret training mission, something going on.
Yeah.
I think it's odd that Congress is now demanding investigations. The FBI is investigating. I would hope that the Pentagon would give a little nudge to them and say, hey, you don't need to investigate. It's us. But I think, if anything, it shows the lack of communication within the bureaucracy and how inefficient they are. But
so you want to make your wife nervous? Come home and don't say anything to her.
Yeah.
And just sit at the dinner table and say nothing, right? And
sometimes she might actually like that.
Okay, yeah,
every
sure.
day I get home and I'm
Totally.
just blabbing.
You ask questions, you say nothing. Like that, they're causing panic by not telling us.
Yeah.
Right? They're doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's the same thing. We're not stupid. We know where the Diddy list is. We know where the Epstein list is.
Yeah.
Kash Patel is going to get in the chair, and I think they're going to disclose it all.
We got a lot to look forward to in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
A lot of disclosure and a lot to look forward to the rest of this weekend because we got some great main stage speakers coming up.
Yes.
Benny Johnson, always a pleasure, my
All
friend.
right, man.
A decade we've been in this,
That was rocking
in this
and
fight
rolling.
together. All right, that is all the time we've got. Thanks so much for joining us all week long at AmericaFest. It has been a lot of fun, but I don't want to hold you guys from the main stage. Let's get you over there right now. Rob Snyder is about to get things going, followed by Homan, Senator Ted Cruz, and of course, the man of the year, of the decade, of the century, the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Enjoy the speeches, everybody, and Merry Christmas.
In closets, and that's just, gathering up Hunter Biden's Coke stash. I wrote this late last night. A lot of pundits, liberal pundits, are wondering how the Democrats can spend $1.2 billion and lose. They're wondering, how did the Democrats lose men? That's a tough one. Have you tried not trying to physically turn them into women? Just spitballing here. Democrats, looking back now, do you think it was a good idea to spend $1 billion to have every P. Diddy party suspect at your event? Now, you got to give credit where credit is due, though. Last week, Joe Biden achieved a major foreign policy breakthrough, and a literal al-Qaeda terrorist is the new president of Syria. Come on, man, I'm serious. Come on, man, I'm serious. Look, man, he's a bad dude. Why? Probably dementia. You know how senile people sometimes, they put their clothes in the oven, they do weird shit. Sometimes they install a literal al-Qaeda terrorist as president of Syria. We are the party of compassion, the Republicans. Nancy Pelosi fell down and broke her hip, and as much as I disagree about her politics, I feel horrible about her fall, because I had all my money on Mitch McConnell in the office broken hip pool. I did not get paid to be here, like I said, like Oprah got paid, because I got doged by Elon and Vivek. I'm just grateful that the American people saw through Oprah's lies, saying that you will never vote again if Trump wins. America didn't fall for Obama in his mama jeans, trying to shame black men into voting for Kamala just because they may have mommy problems or issues. I'm glad nobody listened to Kamala Harris, because she never really said what she stood for. Because at the end of the day, just like her party, she stood for nothing. The Democrats had no policy this year. Their only hope, besides calling Trump Hitler every chance they had, was that their hope was that Americans would hate Donald Trump more than they love their country, and they failed miserably, because Americans love their country. Americans love their country. It is a nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. And as we bid farewell to the third Obama administration, and as we witness the woke mind virus gasping its last diversity, equity, and inclusion breath, we welcome the gift the Democrats have bestowed onto us. that now the Republican Party is the party of the people. President Trump, who will be on the stage very shortly, has been handed a mandate by the American people to rid our government agencies that have been captured by the industries they're supposed to regulate, to end the war in Ukraine and the slaughter of all those people, to end the war in the Middle East, to make America energy independent once again. To make America healthy again. I'm grateful to President Trump for having Robert Kennedy as our next Health and Human Services Secretary. Because we need to make America healthy again. 70% of our American men no longer can qualify for the health standards to be in our Army. We need to get all of you need to get healthy again. Walk 10,000 steps a day. We need to get all of us healthy. We need to. Because if you love your country, you want to have your kids healthy again. We got to get to the bottom. We got to kick out the pharma stooges who have been in charge of our CDC. We need to somehow, we cannot have food that is not okay, that Europe won't have, that Canada won't have, but is okay to poison our own American people. That shit has to stop. This is a nation under God, and America has decided that Donald Trump will make America great again. Let's help get President Trump, all of his appointments in by the Senate. And let's, just like Americans stood up and said no to this bill, thanks to Elon Musk and Twitter, we need to get all his appointments in, including Tulsi Gabbard. Let's get them all in to make America great again. God bless you. God bless all of you for fighting and loving this country, and God bless America. Thank you so much. We'll see you now. You can do it, America. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from our 47th president making it to the stage, but we still have thousands that are trying to get in the room. So if you have any empty seats next to you, please slide to your left or right so we can get as many people in the room as possible. Thank you so much.
Receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing.
We want to be the world's greatest media company. This company represents a whole new generation. We're building alternatives, and the alternatives are economic might. They just don't have any alternatives, and we're going to give them to them. It's going to change everything. You can buy my new razor instead. They'll like what we make more. They'll trust what we make more. We'll hit the target every single time. Let's make a movie. We are just getting started. We decided to spend $100 million making kids content. We're going to knock it out of the park, and no one else is going to do it.
I've often said that gender-affirming care is health care, it is mental health care, and it can actually be suicide prevention care.
I think I'm gonna take some medicine so I can kind of like transform into a boy, get surgery.
After the surgery, I didn't really feel any better.
When it stopped being a thing for adults and it started to be a let's teach this to kids.
Total lie, manipulation, it's gaslighting.
Please stop. He's a boy, not a girl. How could she do this to my son?
What they're talking about is hormonal therapy or sex reassignment surgery on children.
I thought fixing me externally would fix me internally. But of course I was wrong.
The fact that the state thinks that they're more important and have a better say in what happens to your child over the actual parent's opinion is egregious.
Puberty blockers, surgeries, big money makers for hospitals, for physicians.
All I want to do is hold my son.
Are you asking me to lie to parents? And he said, yes.
This is a weaponized use of a parent's sympathy and caring and concern by the left to destroy your child.
Let's tell kids that maybe they can be the opposite sex. Maybe they actually are the opposite sex.
It is an evil thing to tell children that happiness lies on the other side of puberty blockers or double mastectomies.
The left so badly wants to blur these lines.
That's a 5-alarm fire.
It's criminal.
For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior.
Christ is a master at using short, mysterious stories. They change the listener who takes them seriously. My experience with the biblical text is that they're inexhaustible sources of wisdom. If I find something in them that is an obstacle, it's because there's something in me that has yet to be transformed. I just don't get it.
The person that you do not think could ever be virtuous, oh, let me show you. This is the person who is fulfilling the law and the prophets.
But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you as well.
I don't believe in that promise. I'll just be honest at this point. That has not been part of my experience.
This parable I've been trying to understand forever. While we were talking and while we were sitting there, then it hit me. I saw it.
Name me one ideology that has supplanted Christianity that has done good for humanity. This Jew is very frightened of a post-Christian society.
He was the God-man, the model, the example of what we ought to become and what we can become.
It's okay. It's safe for you and all of your doubts and apprehensions to open up and to let these stories in. He is the temple. He is the Torah. He is the covenant. He is prophecy fulfilled.
If you're doing this and it isn't also the love of wisdom, it's also an attempt at wisdom without love. In both ways, you're going radically wrong.
Power of love. It sounds so cliche when you say
60s, eh? I don't want to be in a Hallmark card, I tell you.
We've got our work cut out for us, gentlemen. This is one peculiar time and one peculiar text, and I sure hope we're up to the task.
The question everyone in America is asking,
am I racist?
They gonna say I'm racist. Get a Daily Wire Plus membership to see Am I Racist?
This is all I have. Did you want to?
I can help you guys out.
Yeah.
Go to AmIRacist.com and sign up now.
I've been told because I'm a white male, kind of at the top of the pile, how do I get down from the top?
I don't think you necessarily can.
How do we get past all the talk about racism?
We have to love each other.
Well, it can't be that simple. How do we get to a point of racial harmony? It's good to talk to you.
They gonna say I'm
We're still
racist.
on a journey, all of us together.
I think you got some journeying to do.
Just talk to me about the statistics. We have an epidemic.
20 million crimes a year, 6,000, 7,000 hate crimes. No, there's no epidemic.
Why are we talking about statistics? This is not a matter of statistics.
Well, you asked me about the statistics.
They gonna say you racist.
Am I Racist?
Everybody racist.
Now streaming only on Daily Wire Plus. Rated PG-13.
Oh, hey, I'm Jeremy Bourne, CEO of Daily Wire and founder of Jeremy's Razors. Woke razor companies love to take your money while trampling on your values. Me? I just love your money.
Cut! What is this? We're filming the commercial for the brand new second-generation Jeremy's Razor.
Yeah, I get it. We moved our manufacturing out of China. Plus, with the new Sprint 3 and Precision 5 blades, you can shave like a man, not a manifesto. But who's he?
Customers want diversity. Customers want inclusion. Customers want Black Jeremy.
That's why there's no white people in commercials anymore? Unbelievable. Stop giving your money to woke corporations who hate you. Give it to me instead.
Buy the new radically redesigned second-gen razors featuring sharper, longer-lasting blades and superior durability. Go to jeremysrazors.com now.
Since I joined forces with the Daily Wire Plus, we've built a comprehensive collection of premium content. Get the entire collection of Mastering Life, strengthen your relationship with my series Marriage. In the series on masculinity, discover your purpose. In Vision and Destiny, develop a vision for your own life. You need to do that. My new series Negotiation offers practical steps to help you close the deal where both sides walk away with a win. We're also offering a 3-part series on success, how to strengthen your family and to strengthen your relationships and to aim up. People are struggling with depression and anxiety. We walk through all of that. How do you cope with it? What's the best pathway forward? In addition, we've explored biblical writings and their cultural influence. Our new 10-part series on the Gospels delineates the accounts of the New Testament writings. And finally, join me on a journey through time, Foundations of the West. The work I'm doing with the Daily Wire brings the spirit of adventure forward. Join us on Daily Wire Plus today.
You know you want a cigar, but you don't know what cigar you want to smoke. How do you choose a cigar? In the case of Mayflower cigars, the lighter Connecticut Shade Dawn is in fact a mild to medium-bodied cigar. The darker Habano Dusk is stronger and fuller-bodied, with a medium to full profile. Whichever size and shape of cigar you choose, I certainly hope it's a Mayflower. You must be 21 years old or older to purchase. Some exclusions may apply.
Lie to parents, and he said yes.
This is a weaponized use of a parent's sympathy and caring and concern by the left to destroy your child.
Let's tell kids that maybe they can be the opposite sex. Maybe they actually are the opposite sex.
It is an evil thing to tell children that happiness lies on the other side of puberty blockers or double mastectomies.
The left so badly wants to blur these lines.
That's a 5-alarm fire.
It's criminal.
This year, I visited nearly 50 college campuses, meeting thousands of students and sharing with them why America is the greatest country ever to exist. We've been the driving force of the grassroots movement, getting young Americans to the polls and standing up for conservative values. But we're just getting started, and there's so much more to do. None of this happens without our generous supporters like you, so please donate to Turning Point USA and help us keep this movement alive. Together, we'll continue to shape the future of America. Join us. Let's keep pushing forward.
Gallup poll indicates that more Americans are leaning to the right.
We're living in a very weird world now where the conservatives are the one who seem to be very in touch with how people communicate.
They are becoming conservative in record numbers. They are rebelling against a kind of ideology on the left that holds them responsible for all the world's failing.
Turning Point is very much to credit for that.
This is a group that operates under the auspices of Charlie
It is
Kirk.
big and it is very organized.
They've unleashed parents to object to
material in the school library.
If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system?
They started teaching kids, you know what, we're going to teach kids how to run for school board office.
Conservatives are seizing control of the American classroom. 38% of Americans say they're conservative now on social issues. This is the highest percentage ever.
Nobody works harder, nobody pushes harder than Turning Point, and nobody produces results like Turning Point USA.
I've often said that gender-affirming care is health care, it is mental health care, and it can actually be suicide prevention care.
I think I'm gonna take some medicine so I can kind of like transform into a boy, get surgery.
After the surgery, I didn't really feel any better.
When it stopped being a thing for adults and it started to be a, let's teach this to kids.
Total lie, manipulation, it's gaslighting. Please stop. He's a boy, not a girl. How could she do this to my son?
What they're talking about is hormonal therapy or sex reassignment surgery on children.
I thought fixing me externally would fix me internally. But of course I was wrong.
The fact that the state thinks that they're more important and have a better say in what happens to your child over the actual parent's opinion is egregious.
Puberty blockers, surgeries, big money makers for hospitals, for physicians.
All I want to do is hold my son.
Are you asking me to lie to parents? And he said, yes.
This is a weaponized use of a parent's sympathy and caring and concern by the left to destroy your child.
Let's tell kids that maybe they can be the opposite sex. Maybe they actually are the opposite sex.
It is an evil thing to tell children that happiness lies on the other side of puberty blockers or double mastectomies.
The left so badly wants to blur these lines.
That's a 5-alarm fire.
It's criminal.
This year, I visited nearly 50 college campuses, meeting thousands of students and sharing with them why America is the greatest country ever to exist. We've been the driving force of the grassroots movement, getting young Americans to the polls and standing up for conservative values. But we're just getting started, and there's so much more to do. None of this happens without our generous supporters like you, so please donate to Turning Point USA and help us keep this movement alive. Together, we'll continue to shape the future of America. Join us. Let's keep pushing forward.
Gallup poll indicates that more Americans are leaning to the right.
We're living in a very weird world now where the conservatives are the one who seem to be very in touch with how people communicate.
They are becoming conservative in record numbers. They are rebelling against a kind of ideology on the left that holds them responsible for all the world's failings.
Turning Point.
Turning Point is very much to credit for that.
This is a group that operates under the auspices of Charlie
It is
Kirk.
big and it is very organized.
They've unleashed parents to object to material in the school library.
If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system?
They started teaching kids, you know what, we're going to teach kids how to run for school board office.
Conservatives are seizing control of the American classroom. 38% of Americans say they're conservative now on social issues. This is the highest percentage ever.
Nobody works harder, nobody pushes harder than Turning Point, and nobody produces results like Turning Point USA.
I've often said that gender-affirming care is health care, it is mental health care, and it can actually be suicide prevention care.
I think I'm gonna take some medicine so I can kind of like transform into a boy, get surgery.
After the surgery, I didn't really feel any better.
When it stopped being a thing for adults and it started to be a, let's teach this to kids.
Total lie, manipulation, it's gaslighting. Please stop. He's a boy, not a girl. How could she do this to my son?
What they're talking about is hormonal therapy or sex reassignment surgery on children.
I thought fixing me externally would fix me internally. But of course I was wrong.
The fact that the state thinks that they're more important and have a better say in what happens to your child over the actual parent's opinion is egregious.
Puberty blockers, surgeries, big money makers for hospitals, for physicians.
All I want to do is hold my son.
Are you asking me to lie to parents? And he said, yes.
This is a weaponized use of a parent's sympathy and caring and concern by the left to destroy your child.
Let's tell kids that maybe they can be the opposite sex. Maybe they actually are the opposite sex.
It is an evil thing to tell children that happiness lies on the other side of puberty blockers or double mastectomies.
The left so badly wants to blur these lines.
That's a 5-alarm fire.
It's criminal.
This year, I visited nearly 50 college campuses, meeting thousands of students and sharing with them why America is the greatest country ever to exist. We've been the driving force of the grassroots movement, getting young Americans to the polls and standing up for conservative values. But we're just getting started, and there's so much more to do. None of this happens without our generous supporters like you, so please donate to Turning Point USA and help us keep this movement alive. Together, we'll continue to shape the future of America. Join us. Let's keep pushing forward.
We want to be the world's greatest media company. This company represents a whole new generation. We're building alternatives, and the alternatives are economic might. They just don't have any alternatives, and we're going to give them to them. It's going to change everything. You can buy my new razor instead. They'll like what we make more. They'll trust what we make more. We'll hit the target every single time. Let's make a movie. We are just getting started. We decided to spend $100 million making kids content. We're going to knock it out of the park, and no one else is going to do it.
The question everyone in America is asking: am I racist?
They gonna say I'm racist.
Get a Daily Wire Plus membership to see Am I Racist?
This is all I have. Did you want to? I can help you guys out. Yeah.
Go to AmIRacist.com and sign up now.
I've been told because I'm a white male, kind of at the top of the pile, how do I get down from the top?
I don't think you necessarily can.
How do we get past all the talk about racism? We have to love each other. Well, it can't be that simple. How do we get to a point of racial harmony? It's good to talk to you.
They gonna say I'm
We're still
racist.
on a journey, all of us together.
I think you got some
journeying to do. Just talk to me about the statistics. We have an epidemic.
20 million crimes a year, 6,000, 7,000 hate crimes. No, there's no epidemic.
Why are we talking about statistics? This is not a matter of statistics.
Well, you asked me about the statistics.
They gonna say you racist.
Am I Racist?
Everybody racist.
Now streaming only on Daily Wire Plus. Rated PG-13.
I've often said that gender-affirming care is health care, it is mental health care, and it can actually be suicide prevention care.
I think I'm gonna take some medicine so I can kind of like transform into a boy, get surgery.
After the surgery, I didn't really feel any better.
When it stopped being a thing for adults and it started to be a let's teach this to kids.
Total lie, manipulation, it's gaslighting. Please stop. He's a boy, not a girl. How can she do this to my son?
What they're talking about is hormonal therapy or sex reassignment surgery on children.
I thought fixing me externally would fix me internally. But of course I was wrong.
The fact that the state thinks that they're more important and have a better say in what happens to your child over the actual parent's opinion is egregious.
Puberty blockers, surgeries, big money makers for hospitals, for physicians.
All I want to do is hold my son.
Are you asking me to lie to parents? And he said, yes.
This is a weaponized use of a parent's sympathy and caring and concern by the left to destroy your child.
Let's tell kids that maybe they can be the opposite sex. Maybe they actually are the opposite sex.
It is an evil thing to tell children that happiness lies on the other side of puberty blockers or double mastectomies.
The left so badly wants to blur these lines.
That's a 5-alarm fire.
It's criminal.
Oh, hey, I'm Jeremy Bourne, CEO of Daily Wire and founder of Jeremy's Razors. Woke razor companies love to take your money while trampling on your values. Me? I just love your money.
Cut! What is this? We're filming the commercial for the brand new second-generation Jeremy's Razor.
Yeah, I get it. We moved our manufacturing out of China. Plus, with the new Sprint 3 and Precision 5 blades, you can shave like a man, not a manifesto. But who's he?
Customers want diversity. Customers want inclusion. Customers want Black Jeremy.
That's why there's no white people in commercials anymore? Unbelievable. Stop giving your money to woke corporations who hate you. Give it to me instead.
Buy the new radically redesigned second-gen razors featuring sharper, longer-lasting blades and superior durability. Go to jeremy'srazors.com now.
For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior.
Christ is a master at using short, mysterious stories. They change the listener who takes them seriously. My experience with the biblical text is that they're inexhaustible sources of wisdom. If I find something in them that is an obstacle, it's because there's something in me that has yet to be transformed. I just don't get it.
The person that you do not think could ever be virtuous, oh, let me show you. This is the person who is fulfilling the law and the prophets.
But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you as well.
I don't believe in that promise. I'll just be honest at this point. That has not been part of my experience.
This parable I've been trying to understand forever. While we were talking and while we were sitting there, then it hit me. I saw it.
Name me one ideology that has supplanted Christianity that has done good for humanity. This Jew is very frightened of a post-Christian society.
He was the God-man, the model, the example of what we ought to become and what we can become.
It's okay. It's safe for you and all of your doubts and apprehensions to open up and to let these stories in.
He is the temple. He is the Torah. He is the covenant. He is prophecy fulfilled.
If you're doing this and it isn't also the love of wisdom, it's also an attempt at wisdom without love. In both ways, you're going radically wrong.
Power of love. It sounds so cliche when you say
60 there. I don't want to be in a Hallmark card, I tell you.
We've got our work cut out for us, gentlemen. This is one peculiar time and one peculiar text, and I sure hope we're up to the task.
You know you want a cigar, but you don't know what cigar you want to smoke. How do you choose a cigar? In the case of Mayflower cigars, the lighter Connecticut shade Dawn is in fact a mild to medium-bodied cigar. The darker Habano Dusk is stronger and fuller-bodied, with a medium to full profile. Whichever size and shape of cigar you choose, I certainly hope it's a Mayflower. You must be 21 years old or older to purchase. Some exclusions may apply.
Since I joined forces with the Daily Wire Plus, we've built a comprehensive collection of premium content. Get the entire collection of Mastering Life, Strengthen Your Relationship with my series Marriage. In the series on masculinity, discover your purpose. In Vision and Destiny, develop a vision for your own life. You need to do that. My new series Negotiation offers practical steps to help you close the deal where both sides walk away with a win. We're also offering a 3-part series on success, how to strengthen your family and to strengthen your relationships and to aim up. People are struggling with depression and anxiety. We walk through all of that. How do you cope with it? What's the best pathway forward? In addition, we've explored biblical writings and their cultural influence. Our new 10-part series on the Gospels delineates the accounts of the New Testament writings. And finally, join me on a journey through time, Foundations of the West. The work I'm doing with the Daily Wire brings the spirit of adventure forward. Join us on Daily Wire Plus today.
bunch of young people who got your brains early. Power of transparency is important, and we're at a moment, we're at an inflection point. And let us go forward together and keep our sacred oath to defend the Constitution and to protect the American people. You are the answer. You are the solution. God bless Turning Point. We are looking at America. We are gathered here at truly a momentous time. If you were young and passionate, and it was 1776, you would have been part of transforming and creating the United States of America. If you were young and passionate and the year was 1980 and the Reagan Revolution was happening, you would have been part of transforming the United States of America. And today, in 2024, you are young and passionate, and every one of you is integral to transforming the United States of America. The Washington swamp is terrified of you. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris are terrified of you. Joe Biden, well, no, he's actually not terrified. He doesn't know where he is. But he is wondering what time the People's Court is on TV. If you look at what happened in November, the results of the election were clear and unequivocal. 7 battleground states across America. We won all 7. And I've got to say, Donald J. Trump is truly an extraordinary leader. Has there ever been anyone in American history who, after being shot in the head, stands up and responds, "Fight, fight, fight"? The American people have given us the White House. They've given us the House. They've given us the Senate. Now, it's time for us to deliver. We have work to do to deliver on our promises, so a year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now, the American people can say they did exactly what they said they would do. Number one, starting on January 20th, we will secure the border. Catch and release ends on January 20th. If you are an illegal alien, if you're a murderer, if you're a rapist, if you're a child molester, if you're a Venezuelan gang member, pack your bags because you're getting the hell out. And I'm here to tell you that's not going to take a year. It's not going to take 6 months. We are going to see the numbers of illegal immigration plummet, and they are going to plummet in January and February of this year. Number two, We are going to unleash American energy. America is the world's energy superpower, the #1 producer of oil in the world, the #1 producer of natural gas in the world, and America will be energy dominant. If you're fed up with high prices at the gas pump, high prices at the grocery store, high prices when you pay your bills, energy feeds into every one of them. The American people in this election said enough is enough is enough, and we are going to lower energy costs and make life more affordable for everyone. Number 3, we are going to unleash small business. The regulators descending from Washington, we are going to repeal the rules they're using to kill small businesses. And I'll tell you what, we are also going to unleash crypto. I'm proud to stand with crypto. I'm proud to stand with Bitcoin. And I am the only member of the United States Senate who is, in fact, a Bitcoin miner. I've got 3 miners hashing in West Texas right now, and it is beautiful. And let me say to all of crypto and all of Bitcoin, come to Texas. Texas is the oasis for Bitcoin. Number 4, we will restore integrity to the Department of Justice and the FBI. If you are a wild-eyed partisan who has abused your power and targeted your political enemies at DOJ or the FBI, well, pack your bags because your job is done. And that means, number 5, we will enforce the law, especially against universities across this country. The anti-Semitic protests we've seen at universities will end next year. If you violently protest, if you threaten your fellow students, you will be arrested, you will be expelled, and if you're a foreigner, you will be deported. And we're going to see the Department of Justice and the FBI follow the money, go after the money, cut off the money. We're going to see universities that tolerate anti-Semitism having their federal funds cut off. And when your fellow students look around and say, hey, why didn't this happen before? Why did everyone look the other way at the violence and the threats and the hatred and the bigotry? You're going to be in a position to tell them. And we will end the wars with victory. The war in Ukraine will end this next year, and Vladimir Putin will lose. And the war in Israel will come to an end, and Hamas will lose. Hezbollah will lose. Iran will lose. Every one of you stand up and speak, and I want to encourage you, inform your friends. I want to ask you, pull out your cell phone. Pull out your cell phone and send the word, text the word verdict to the number 24005. That number again, 24005. Text the word verdict. You will get back a link to subscribe to my podcast that is designed to help inform you, to be. You are the ones who won this election. You are the ones who are persuading your colleagues. You are the ones who are informed and educated and engaged. And just as if we were in 1980, just as if we were in 1776, I stand here today amazed and inspired to be in the company of patriots who love America, who together we are making America great again. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Incoming Trump border czar Tom Homan is here.
There is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders.
When the president asked you to, out of the gate, we're concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats.
Look, I love my country. The calling is clear. I got to go back and help because every morning I'm pissed off about what this administration did to the most secure border in my lifetime.
I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's released in our country. You better start packing now. I want to do this job. People say they're going to stop us from what they're doing. They will not. How you doing? So look, if I offend anybody today, I don't care. Some of the media says I'm offensive. I'm okay with that. If I get to live in their minds rent-free, that's kind of cool. Hey, look, for the last 3.5 years, I wake up every morning pissed off about what this administration did. It's the most secure border in my lifetime. I've worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. And every president I worked for took steps to secure the border because they understood you can't have strong national security if you don't have border security. We didn't know who's coming in, what's coming in, where it's coming in. No one's better than President Trump. He was one badass president who secured the border at unprecedented levels. Illegal immigration at a 45-year low. Illegal immigration down 83 to 90%. Extraordinary work. Joe Biden is the first president in history of this nation who came into office and unsecured a border on purpose. Not by mismanagement, not by incompetence. They unsecured a border by design. The first day I smiled when President Trump won this election. I woke up the next morning, I was happy. I smiled for the first time in a long time. Then I got angry again. Because even though they lost the election, they're still moving thousands of illegal aliens in this country every day. CBP-1 app still running. They're selling pieces of the border wall, for God's sakes, that you, the American taxpayers, paid for at a hefty price, and now we got to buy it again. There is no smooth transition. They're going to destroy this country up to the last day they're in the Oval Office. But I got news for him, January 20th, the greatest president in my lifetime is going to walk into the Oval Office and take this country back. President Trump called me a few Fridays ago and says, okay, you've been bitching about the border for 4 years. You want to come fix it? I said, absolutely. I'm back. I got to learn how to retire. This is the second time I got unretired to come back for this president. But I love this president because he loves this country. I love this president because he wants to secure the border. I love this president because the securing the border saves lives. What Joe Biden did by unsecuring the border is this. Sex trafficking, up over 600%. Known as suspected terrorists, people on the terrorist watch list, well over 300 apprehended. President Trump, in 4 years, we had 13. We ended catch-release. Joe Biden's released at least 8 million illegal aliens in this country in violation of federal law. And I said it before, for the millions of illegal aliens that have been released in this country in violation of federal law, you're going home, and Tom Homan's going to make sure that happens. Think about this for a moment, what they did. They created the biggest national security vulnerability this nation's ever seen. I already said they arrested over 300 people on the terrorist watch list. Well, there's over 2 million known gotaways. Why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Why didn't they pay less to be turned over to the Border Patrol, be released within 24 hours, get a free airline ticket to the city of their choice, get a free hotel room at $500 a night, get 3 square meals a day, get free medical attention, and get work authorization within 120 days? Why did they pay more not to take advantage of this free giveaway program? Because they didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. These are your gang members. These are the ones carrying fentanyl across the border. And these are people from terrorist-related countries. After 9/11, we created all these databases. You got the FBI screening database. You got the DOD intel database. You got the visa security program, which stopped thousands of people from getting a visa to come to the United States like the terrorists of 9/11 did. So we vet them now, and we vet through the process. You don't get a visa if we find derogatory information in your background. But what terrorist today is going to put himself in a position to ask for a visa or ask for an airline ticket when he can simply go to Mexico and be a part of that 2 million gotaway? I don't know how many terrorists cross this border under Joe Biden, but someday we're going to find out. And it's going to be a bad day for America. When that happens, we're going to have one badass president in the White House, and that's Donald Trump, who's going to make sure we respond appropriately. People always ask me why I take this so seriously, and people say, Tom Homan's a racist, Tom Homan's a national. Say whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Why do I care? I care because I stood in the back of a tractor trailer with 19 dead aliens that suffocated and baked to death, including a 5-year-old little boy that died in his father's arms. Throughout my career, I've seen tragedies, held dying children. I've seen dead aliens on the trail. I've talked to little girls as young as 9 years old that were raped multiple times by criminal cartels. They're animals. When you look into a little girl's eyes, 9 years old, who had adults take everything innocent and pure from her, you look in those eyes, and those eyes have no life in them. Her life will never be the same. That's what pisses me off, because President Trump had us locked down. He had it locked down. And this administration came in and unlocked it. People die on the border every day. Women are sex trafficked in this country every day. That's why I'm pissed off. And that's why the best day of my life was President Trump getting reelected to save lives. A secure border saves lives. It isn't rocket science. I get fired up all over again. You Trump, Trump, Trump. That's right. President Trump's going to make this country safe again. President Trump's going to make our border great again. President Trump's going to decrease illegal migrant crime at unprecedented rates, because out of the gate, day one, we're going to focus on public safety threats and national security threats. They're first. They're coming first. And Tren de Agua, your days are numbered. My gang's bigger than your gang. And we're going to take you out of the country. We're going to port you out of here. Who do you think you are, coming to the greatest nation on earth and victimizing Americans in this country? Your days are numbered. You're number one on the list. MS-13, you're right behind them. To the sanctuary cities who want to attack me every day so you can put roadblocks up, you're not going to assist us. Shame on you. Shame on any elected representative any congressman, council person, any mayor, any governor who don't want to remove public safety threats from your community, and they're here illegally, that is your number one responsibility, is protect your communities. So if you're not going to do it, President Trump and ICE will. The mayor of Chicago, not a real bright guy, says Tom Homan isn't welcome in Chicago. Well, guess where Tom Homan's going to be day one? Chicago, Illinois. You don't want me there? Come get me. The people of Chicago have spoken. I went there a few weeks ago. The black community's upset. The whole community's upset because violent crime is up. And millions of dollars in public services are being given to people who are not supposed to be here. Meanwhile, the tax-paying community that is in a bad way because the Biden administration's economic plans, they're getting robbed every day by giving millions of dollars to people that aren't supposed to be here. That's not the way it's supposed to be, folks. It's not okay to be in this country illegally. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's a crime to enter this country illegally. Now, let me continue to educate sanctuary cities. You want to not help? Fine. Shame on you. If you don't want to protect your communities, shame on you. But we're going to do it for you. You're not going to stop me. We're coming. So put up all the roadblocks you want, because we'll knock them down. And don't cross that line. People say Homan threatened to prosecute everybody in the world. I'm not threatening to prosecute anybody. What I'm saying is there's a line. You don't want to help, that's fine. Well, there's two statutes you need to be familiar with. One's 8 U.S.C. 1324 III. If you knowingly impede, if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE, that is a felony, and there will be consequences. Now, let me make it clear. The governor says I don't have the authority to do that. Well, no shit. I'm not a U.S. attorney, but U.S. attorney certainly does. And we'll ask for prosecution. We will not let you prevent us from saving the American communities from illegal alien crime. It's not going to happen. We're going, we're coming. So even though I say we're going to prioritize criminal threats and national security threats out of the gate, that's the fact. However, when sanctuary cities won't let us into the jail to arrest the bad guy in the safety and security of that county jail, which means they're going to release that criminal back into the immigrant community, which puts the immigrant community at risk of crime. It puts our officers at great risk. Rather than arresting a guy in the safety and security of a county jail where he don't have weapons, now we got to go to the community, find him. We have access to who knows what weapons. You're putting the community at risk. You're putting officers at risk. You're putting the alien at risk. And I'm going to give you exactly what you don't want. You don't want us to listen in jail? All right, so I'll send a whole bunch of agents into your community, and we'll find the bad guy. And when we find the bad guy, he's probably going to be with others that aren't a priority apprehension, but guess what? They're getting arrested too. So you'll get exactly what you don't want, more arrests in your communities. I don't want to do that. I'd much rather be safe for the agents to arrest the guy in the county jail, but they don't let us in. Fine. You're not going to stop us. We'll go to the community, and we will find him. You're not going to stop us. Put all the roadblocks you want. It's not going to work. We're going to do this because the American people demand it. You gave President Trump a mandate, and we're going to make sure that mandate's held up. President Trump's backstage. President Trump's backstage. And let me say, I want to say one thing in closing. And I said it at the RNC and I meant it. The criminal cartels in Mexico have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. Over 250,000 young Americans have died from fentanyl poisonings. President Trump's going to hold China accountable for creating the precursors he's selling to the cartels. President Trump's going to hold Mexico accountable for not doing anything about these criminal cartels. President Trump's going to designate them terrorist organizations. And we're going to wipe them off the face of the earth. Criminal cartels I got numerous death threats. Criminal cartels, you make death threats against me, bring it. Because the greatest country on the face of this earth is going to put you out of business and put you in prison. If Mexico don't do it, the United States will. President Trump will. Are you ready to secure the border? Then get on your feet. Are you ready to secure the border? Are you ready for the biggest deportation operation you've ever seen? Are you ready for President Trump to walk on this stage? God bless you. God bless America.
Rich men know the rich men, Lord knows they all just want to have.
poll indicates that more Americans are leaning to the right.
We're living in a very weird world now where the conservatives are the one who seem to be very in touch with how people communicate.
They are becoming conservative in record numbers. They are rebelling against a kind of ideology on the left that holds them responsible for all the world's failing.
Turning Point is very much to credit for that.
This is a group that operates under the auspices of Charlie
It's
Kirk.
big and it is very organized.
They've unleashed parents to object to material in the school library.
If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system?
They started teaching kids, you know what, we're going to teach kids how to run for school board office.
Conservatives are seizing control of the American classroom. 38% of Americans say they're conservative now on social issues. This is the highest percentage ever.
Nobody works harder, nobody pushes harder than Turning Point, and nobody produces results like Turning Point USA.
I've often said that gender-affirming care is health care, it is mental health care, and it can actually be suicide prevention care.
I think I'm gonna take some medicine so I can kind of like transform into a boy, get surgery.
After the surgery, I didn't really feel any better.
When it stopped being a thing for adults and it started to be a, let's teach this to kids.
Total lie, manipulation, it's gaslighting.
Please stop. He's a boy, not a girl. How could she do this to my son?
What they're talking about is hormonal therapy or sex reassignment surgery on children.
I thought fixing me externally would fix me internally. But of course I was wrong.
The fact that the state thinks that they're more important and have a better say in what happens to your child over the actual parent's opinion is egregious.
Puberty blockers, surgeries, big money makers for hospitals, for physicians.
All I want to do is hold my son.
Are you asking me to lie to parents? And he said, yes.
This is a weaponized use of a parent's sympathy and caring and concern by the left to destroy your child.
Let's tell kids that maybe they can be the opposite sex. Maybe they actually are the opposite sex.
It is an evil thing to tell children that happiness lies on the other side of puberty blockers or double mastectomies.
The left so badly wants to blur these lines.
That's a 5-alarm fire.
It's criminal.
This year I visited nearly 50. Okay, I'm the only one standing in the way of hearing from the 45th and 47th President of the United States. So I'm not going to talk long. I just want to say I am so thankful that all of you have worked so hard to get Donald Trump back in the White House. In this state, this is the best performing swing state with a 5.5-point victory. We have all 50 states represented here in this grassroots movement of the greatest American comeback in the history of our country. I truly believe that President Trump, throughout these last couple of years, overcoming all these odds is one of the greatest stories ever told. And let's just say thank you, God, for giving us Donald Trump and giving our country back. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to witness history, the 45th and 47th President of the United States.
If there was one thing that you wanted people to remember about Donald Trump, what is it?
Never, ever give up.
Over the years, I've surprised a lot of people. The biggest surprise is yet to come. You are about to begin the greatest adventure of your life.
The biggest political phoenix from the ashes story ever.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
Transformation from businessman to reality TV star.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency.
This is a man's world. We've been through so much together.
This is a guy who has had arrows thrown at him. Democrats have tried to put him in jail, bankrupt.
But it would mean nothing We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible.
The subject of Russia investigation, 2 impeachments, 2 assassination attempts, 91 indictments, convictions. There is almost nothing that hasn't been thrown at this former president.
For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth.
When they couldn't beat him, they tried to bankrupt him. When that didn't work, they tried to put him in federal prison.
Hello, Butler. Hello.
When that didn't work, they even tried to kill him.
They just tried to kill President Trump. Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. Together we will write the next chapter of the great American story.
Donald Trump accepted his 3rd Republican presidential nomination days after an assassin attempted to take his life. President Biden has just announced that he is ending his re-election bid. Kamala Harris is to become the Democratic nominee.
You think about all the times that the media wrote the obituary of Donald Trump's political career.
And everybody was wrong.
We together are going to register new voters, chase ballots, vote early. We are going to do the work to save America.
President Trump will win the state of Pennsylvania.
Winner of Michigan, and they're just a few electoral votes away now from clinching to 70.
We will take back our country.
We are now projecting
And we will make
that the next president of the United States
America
is
great again. America's comeback starts right now.
Trust Donald Trump.
Donald Trump returning to the White House as the 47th president of the United States.
His comeback victory unlike anything we have ever seen in American history.
It was the most successful citizen revolt. The people defeated the oligarchs.
History looks back on Donald Trump. He will be one of the greatest leaders this world has ever seen.
Will forever be remembered as the day the American people regained control of their country.
Republicans will pull off a political trifecta, controlling the House, the Senate, and the White House.
I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you.
President Trump is putting together a brilliant cabinet of fantastic America First fighters.
With you at my side, we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny, demolish the deep state. This will truly be the golden age of America. Our best days are yet to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, now welcome to the stage the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say.
Well, hello, Arizona. It's great to be here. Nice to win the election. That's very nice to win. And I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. They don't say that too much anymore. We say it. And when I had all that smoke backstage, I said, hey, are there any steps in front of me? I don't want to go down. I go down, that would not be good. We don't want to do that, nice and slow. But I just want to thank you. What a beautiful production this is. What a great job the whole group does. And been amazing. Turning Point's been amazing. It's really been tremendous numbers of American patriots. It's really been great. And you saw what happened last month. And we had Turning Point's Grassroots Army. It's an army. They turned out to vote. And they voted in record numbers. And everybody else voted in record numbers, too, I have to tell you. And we did something that was really epic. We won a battle that a lot of people thought was very hard to win, you know, too big to rig. Remember what I said, too big to rig? We'll make it too big to rig, we're going to win. And it really was one of the great political victories in the history of our country, and that's good. They said one of the very big radical left newspapers said the most consequential election in the last 129 years. And I said, couldn't they have made it a little bit longer than that? You know, 129 years, but that's pretty good. But we won. Oh, it's so nice. We won the popular vote by a lot, by millions and millions. And I used to hear the first one, we won and we did great. And they always would say, while he didn't win the popular vote, he won the electoral college. You know, they'd say that low. But we actually did very well then, but we did really well the second time. And this time, we said, the hell with it. We've got to just blow them away. And that's what we did. We blew them away. So we won all 7 swing states. Remember, they were saying, well, you know, we did very well in early voting, so we didn't have to win too much, because we were way ahead. But they said, well, he only has to win 2, but we won all 7. Can you believe it, huh? We won all 7. And we carried the great state of Arizona, something not easy for a Republican to do, but it was easy for us to do. And we had more than a 6-point landslide. That's called the landslide here. And not only did we reclaim the White House, we also took back the U.S. Senate. And we won the largest popular vote majority for House Republicans in a presidential year since 1928. That's a pretty good thing. And I want to express my tremendous gratitude to Charlie Kirk. He's really an amazing guy. Amazing guy. And his whole staff for their relentless efforts to achieve this very historic victory. It's such a great honor. It's not my victory, it's your victory. It's a great honor, man. We worked hard on this. We knew bad things happened in 2020, and if I didn't know that we won in 2020, I wouldn't have done this, because it would have been like the ultimate poll, right? But we won by a lot, and this time we said, look, now we got to really win by, and we won by so much. They just, you know, they threw all their placards. They wanted to protest. They were all set, and at about 9 o'clock. They said, man, this guy's killing us. They threw the placards. They went home, and we had no riots. We had no anything. It was a beautiful thing to watch. They just said, we lost. And we want to try bringing everybody together. We're going to try. We're going to really give it a shot. The thing that brings people together is victory. It's winning. And we had that for much of my first year. We had the greatest economy in history in our first term. We can now call it a first term. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country, maybe in the history of any country, frankly. And we did things that nobody could have done, and we're going to do them even better now. We're going to be drilling, as we say, drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. But we're going to be doing a lot more than drilling. But I also want to give a very special thanks to everyone at Turning Point Action who outworked and outsmarted, always outsmart. You gotta be smart too, and outorganized the radical left opposition. We had very strong opposition, not in terms of numbers, but I will tell you, something's happened, because that was a big defeat for them. Nobody expected the numbers. You know what happened? The pollsters went around, and whenever anyone said, it's none of your business, they say, who are you voting for, or who did you vote for? They said, it's none of your business. And sometimes they said much tougher language than that, but I'm not going to get into that because I'll get in big trouble on the home front. And with Franklin Graham, please, sir. He says, please, sir, please don't use foul language. You speak so beautifully. You can do just as well. Actually, it doesn't work quite as well, but that's okay. It's just emphasis. But when they said, essentially, it's none of your business, that was a Trump vote. And they had the highest numbers of people that said that because they don't trust the press, etc. And we had the highest numbers, and that's why the polls showed us winning, but not winning in a landslide like we did. And we sort of knew that was going to happen. We could tell by the rally signs. Look at this. Here we won. There's no reason except celebration, but that's not a bad reason, is it? And look at the crowd. They have 7,000 or 8,000 people standing outside. They can't get in. Would anybody like to give up their seat, please? Huh? You know, doing this for years, I don't think I've ever had anyone say, yes, yes, I'll give it up. Just one person, nobody. The Democrats and the media said that Turning Point could never run a ground game. They weren't experienced. They didn't know Charlie, right? But when the ballots came in, the other side really didn't know what the hell hit them. They got hit hard. The victory was such an outstanding one, such a big one. And the other side now, and we don't want this. We want people to be happy and healthy. But they did. They lost their confidence. If you watch television now, they're all befuddled. They don't know what the hell happened. They're befuddled, to use quite a nice word that my mother used to use years ago, talking about somebody that's a mess. But they did. They've lost their confidence, and hopefully they'll lose it for a long time and then come over to our side because we want to have them. We want to have them. And we're going to have some inauguration on the 20th. We're going to have something. It's going to be great. Going to be great. But something happened also in the election. All 50 states shifted toward the Republican Party, every single one of them. And together we won the largest share of African-American voters of any Republican in modern history. Actually, in history. We won more Hispanic-American votes than any Republican ever, and we won the vote. We won the Latino men. Who's a Latino man? Do we have any Latino men? Now, you're not a Latino man. Very beautiful woman, but a man you are not. Of course, nowadays, who the hell knows? But we won the Hispanic, I call Hispanic. I always said, do you like Latino or Hispanic? Let's go. Let's do a free poll. Who likes to be called Latino? Okay, that's what's always happening. Listen to this. Who likes to be called Hispanic? Not as good as usual. But we won half of all voters aged 18 to 29. There's never been anything like that. We won by 36 young people. And we got the highest share of youth vote of any Republican ever before in history. And we had great people. You know, my son Barron said, Dad, you got to see this one, that one, this one. He said he likes Joe Rogan a lot, too. He said, you got to see Joe Rogan. Dad, you got to do an interview with these people. And he is a sort of a feel for young people. I guess that's a nice thing to have when you're young. But he has a feel for it. And it was amazing. So we got the highest vote ever for a Republican candidate. We won by 36 points with young people. That never happens. A Republican loses by 36 or 40. So I'm going to have to start thinking about TikTok. I think we're going to have to start thinking. Because, you know, we did go on TikTok, and we had a great response. We had billions of views, billions and billions of views. They brought me a they brought me a chart, and it was a record, and it was so beautiful to see. And as I looked at it, I said, maybe we got to keep this sucker around a little while, you know? Who wants to? Oh, look, I see Sheriff Joe. Sheriff Joe, could we use you on the border? Stand up. Sheriff Joe. Look at that. He had no problems with the border. You could straighten your border out in 2 minutes. We'll put Sheriff Joe over there. And and you're looking good, Joe. You're looking good. And we miss your wife, right? Your great wife. She's up there proud as hell of you. But he had no border problems. You didn't have any border problems. And we'll do that very shortly for you. We're going to have, you have a governor that doesn't know what the hell she's doing. You have people that don't know what they're doing. And we're going to change it because your border is a disaster. Your border is a disaster, what's going on. And you just have a few days to wait. We're going to be fully operational, I would say, by about 2 o'clock on the 20th. 20th of January. With your help, we gained 23 points with voters under the age of even 25. Think of that. We gained 23 points. And in the election of 2024, our movement not only won a mandate, but we built new American majorities all over the place and will define our country's future. I believe it's going to define our country's future for generations to come. That's going to happen. It's, you know, there's some people called up that are great people, actually. Great business leaders called, a lot of them. And some of them weren't exactly on my side, but they're on my side now. But they said there's a light over not only the country right now, but over the entire world. And it is happening. And we want to get some of these wars that would have never happened, like Russia, Ukraine would have never happened. Israel would have never been attacked, would have never happened. We wouldn't have inflation. We wouldn't have had that Afghanistan horror show, that horrible, the way we left, leaving billions of dollars of equipment behind and 13 soldiers. And, you know, nobody ever mentions, and I mention because I love them and they're all watching right now. 48 soldiers that were horrifically injured. Nobody ever, they lived and they don't talk about them, but these are incredible warriors that were hurt so badly with the legs and the arms and the face and hurt so badly. 48 of them. And we love you. You're listening and we love you. We're not forgetting you. And for all of us standing before you today, I can proudly proclaim that the golden age of America is upon us. It is. It's going to be a golden age. There's a spirit that we have now that we didn't have just a short while ago. Sadly, we didn't have. Well, who the hell can have spirit? Watching women get beat up in a boxing ring? I don't think that's spirit, right? We're going to end that one quick. We're going to end it very quickly. We're going to end that one very quickly. Since the election, the stock market has broken one record after another. The biggest gain of stock market after an election in history. That's a good sign. In a single month, small business optimism soared 41 points, which is a record. That's a record. Bitcoin has surged to an all-time record high of $108,000. Congratulations. Congratulations. And just last week, in an overwhelming statement of confidence in our leadership, the CEO of SoftBank, a very highly respected man in Asia, Masayoshi Son, you probably saw it, announced that he will be investing, and only because I won the election, he made that clear, only because he has confidence in the United States, between $100 billion and $200 billion. And he's going to be investing. It's equal to about 100,000 jobs at least. And all over the world, people are investing now. They're starting the investments, and it's going to be a beautiful thing with the jobs. But they're calling it the Trump effect because even before taking office, we're already bringing in the jobs and opportunity and safety and common sense back to the USA. We're bringing common sense back. Maybe that's the most important thing. I think common sense is the most important thing, but not only are we seeing it at home, but we're seeing it abroad as well. The European Union is suddenly talking about buying vast new quantities of natural, American, beautiful natural gas. It is beautiful, and it's very inexpensive. It's a lot less expensive than windmills all over the place. A lot less expensive. But I've informed Mexico and Canada that they will have to step up and stop the illegal aliens and illegal drugs from pouring into our country. Have to stop. And that goes for the European Union, and it goes for many other places. European Union's treated us very, very badly. We have hundreds of billions of dollars with deficits. They don't take our cars. They don't take our agricultural product, but we take theirs. And they've got to be careful. They can't treat us that way. They're not going to be treating us that way for long, that I can tell you. Because we're not going to let them turn the United States into a dumping ground. We're not going to let it happen. We pay Canada in subsidies and deficits over $150 billion a year. And you say, why are we doing that? Why are we paying Canada $150 billion? Essentially, we're paying Canada, and we love Canada. I have so many friends. I love Canada. I love it. But why are we spending $150 billion on Canada? Yet Canada allows people and drugs to flood in through our northern border. You know, we have a northern border that's not doing so well either. Likewise, people are coming in from Mexico in numbers that have never, ever been seen before. We had 21 million people come in over the past 4 years. Think of that, 21 million people. And you see a lot of these people should not be here. They come from mental institutions and prisons from all over the world, not just South America. Hundreds of thousands more are racing to get across before January 20th. You got to see it. And I was very strong with Mexico. I spoke to the new president, who was lovely, wonderful woman, and President Sheinbaum, wonderful woman, actually. But I said, you can't do this to our country. We're not going to take it anymore. You can't do it. But I've informed Mexico that it just cannot continue. We're not going to let it continue. The United States has lost 300,000 people a year. Think of that. I don't know. I mean, how many people, everybody you meet said, I lost my daughter, I lost my son to drugs, to fentanyl, mostly to fentanyl, but to drugs. Families are being destroyed, and we're going to stop it. We're not going to let that happen. And we're also going to be doing something that's, I think, going to help a lot. We're going to do very big advertising campaigns, just like a campaign for running for president. We spend a lot of money, but it'll be a very small amount of money relatively. We're going to advertise how bad drugs are for you, how bad they are. They ruin your look, they ruin your face, they ruin your skin, and ruin your teeth. If you want to have horrible teeth, take a lot of fentanyl. If you want to have skin that looks so terrible, take fentanyl. We're going to show what these drugs are doing to you. Nobody's done that before, and we're going to do it. And that is, it's going to be like running a political campaign, just like running for president, just like we just did. We had some pretty good ads, right? We explained what these people have done, how they're destroying our country. I mean, who would let millions of people pour in from prisons and jails and into mental institutions, and I always say insane asylums? You know, the press gave me a hard time because sometimes I'd use the word, a name, Hannibal Lecter. They said, why does he mention Hannibal Lecter? That has nothing to do with it. Why would he? I mean, are they stupid? The fact is that we don't want Hannibal Lecter. You know what that is? Silence of the Lambs. We don't want Hannibal Lecter, Dr. Hannibal Lecter in our country, do we, huh? And you know what happened when they went to the voting booth? Or, unfortunately, if they signed their mail-in ballot, but we got by it. We got to change all of that stuff. We got to have great, fair, confident elections. But when they went into the booth or they signed their ballot, they said, Hannibal Lecter, that's a bad guy. We don't want him here. They knew that. They didn't like that. They didn't like that I used him because it's a good It's a very good example. It's like incredible what they do. We need borders, we need fair elections, and we need a free and fair press. And we're going to try getting all of them. As another example of the things we're doing and looking at, it's such a terrible thing is happening. The Panama Canal is considered a vital national asset for the United States of America due to its critical role, American economy, the whole world economy, and also national security. The Panama Canal. Has anyone ever heard of the Panama Canal? Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. A secure, he just said take it back. That's a good idea. Where do you come from, sir? He doesn't come from Panama. Oh, yeah, good. A secure Panama Canal is crucial for U.S. commerce and rapid deployment of the Navy from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific. It's an incredible thing, and drastically cut shipping times down to U.S. ports by days and even weeks. The United States is the #1 user of the Panama Canal, with over 72% of all transits heading to or from U.S. ports. Think of that. So we built it. We're the ones that use it. They gave it away. Considered one of the one of the great wonders of the world. The Panama Canal opened for business 110 years ago and was built at huge cost to the United States, and it really is big when you consider the lives and the treasure, the equivalent of $1.2 trillion today. You don't hear those numbers. 38,000 American men, almost all men, they went there to be construction workers and dig. They were diggers, and they were brave. 38,000 men died from infected mosquitoes in the jungles of Panama during the construction period. Think of that. We lost 38,000 men. Teddy Roosevelt was president of the United States at the time of its building and understood the strength of naval power and trade. When President Jimmy Carter foolishly gave it away for $1. During his term in office, it was solely for Panama to manage and not for China or any other country to manage. You see what's going on there? China. It was likewise not given for Panama to charge the United States, its Navy, and its corporations doing business within our country exorbitant prices and rates of passage, which they do. They charge us like it's a disgrace. Our Navy and Commerce have been treated in a very unfair and injudicious way. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, highly unfair, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama, I say very foolishly, by the United States. This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop. It's going to stop. The United States has a big and vested interest in the secure, efficient, and reliable operation of the Panama Canal. And that was always understood when they gave it to Panama. Can you believe that? We would never have done it if we thought what's happening now can happen. And we would never, and we will never, ever let it fall into the wrong hands. But it's falling into the wrong hands. It was not given for the benefit of others by a token of cooperation, but it was given to Panama and to the people of Panama, but it has provisions. You got to treat us fairly, and they haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full, quickly, and without question. I'm not going to stand for it. So to the officials of Panama, please be guided accordingly. William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States, was because of the vast sums of money that he brought into our country, the person really who got us the money that President Theodore Roosevelt used to build the Panama Canal and a lot of other things. McKinley was a very good, maybe a great president. They took his name off Mount McKinley, right? That's what they do to people. Now, he was a great president, very good president at a minimum. He was a very good businessman. He was a businessman, then a governor, very successful businessman, and then he ran for president, and he won. And he was able to use business principles, and he was a strong believer in tariffs. And we were actually probably wealthiest of any time, relatively speaking, at any point in the history of our country. In the 1890s, we were so wealthy, we had commissions set up what to do with all the money that we were taking in. We had no income tax. We only had tariffs. I consider that to be the most beautiful word in the dictionary. But President McKinley was the president that was responsible for creating a vast sum of money in the United States that Teddy Roosevelt then spent. So let's say they were both excellent presidents, but McKinley did that, and that's one of the reasons that we're going to bring back the name of Mount McKinley, because I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it. There are lots of things we can name, but I think he deserves it. That was not very gracious to somebody that did a good job, and as you know, he was assassinated. He was assassinated. We have accomplished so much in just 47 days since the election, but that's only the beginning of what we will achieve together as the 47th President of the United States of America. Over the past few weeks, I've nominated an all-star cabinet of some of the most fearless, determined, and brilliant individuals ever to step forward for public office. And we're getting great reviews, I have to say, and they're all doing well. But we're getting fantastic reviews on the people that we chose. It's we chose. Because I wouldn't choose them if I didn't think you liked them. I don't have that kind of courage. You like every one of them, and everybody. I mean, people are amazed at the quality. Our Secretary Scott of the Treasury is central casting, the whole group. But to get wokeness out of our military and restore the unquestioned strength and fighting spirit of the American Armed Forces, I've appointed Pete Hegseth to be our next Secretary of Defense. He's going to be great. You know, I've interviewed with him a lot on Fox, and all he ever wanted to talk about was the military, including when we weren't on. He'd talk about the military. He'd talk about how unfairly our soldiers were treated. Can I give a pardon to this one or that one who was treated so unfairly? They teach them to be fighting machines, and then when they fight, they want to put them in jail for 35 years. And he was very strong on that. That's all he wanted to talk about, really, and it just seems so natural to me. Plus, he had a great education, went to Princeton and Harvard, was a tremendous student, and he's a very vibrant, strong guy. I think he's going to be great. He's doing well to make our intelligence community respected even more. I don't even think the word even is right, because we had some bad years with these people. But we're going to do something. We're going to stop looking at all of these horrible foreign wars that we've gotten ourselves through stupidity. We're in wars at countries that nobody ever even heard of before. And we're going to be smart. We're going to be guided by strength. We're going to have peace through strength, like we had. I had no wars other than I wiped out ISIS. We wiped out ISIS in a small fraction. They said it was going to take 5 years. It took 4 weeks. We have a great military, not the ones you see on television, the real generals. But I've nominated Tulsi Gabbard as our Director of National Intelligence, and to be our next Secretary of Health and Human Services, I decided, look, something's going on here. When you look at like autism from 25 years ago and you look at it now, something's going on, and I nominated Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Think of it. Think of this. 25 years ago, autism, 1 in 10,000 children. Today, it's 1 in 36 children. Is something wrong? I think so. And Robert and I and all, we're going to figure it out. But did you ever hear numbers like that? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Likewise, there's been a 25% increase in childhood cancer and a staggering increase in chronic diseases. So together we're going to make America healthy again. We're going to make America healthy again. Something's happening. Something bad is happening. And to end the weaponization of law enforcement and restore fair, equal, and impartial justice, we will have an outstanding new Attorney General in Pam Bondi. She's fantastic. She is fantastic. Known her a long time. And I'm very pleased to report that Christopher Wray is on his way out. He's resigned. And he will soon be replaced by our next FBI director, somebody who I think is going to be one of the greatest, maybe the greatest director of them all, Kash Patel. I campaigned on an agenda of delivering profound change to Washington, and last month the American people voted for change like they've never voted before, and in overwhelming numbers that nobody saw coming. I saw coming, because I think we all saw coming. When you went to the rallies, you saw that we'd have, like we had in New Jersey, 107,000 people, and they'd go out the next day and they'd have 30 people, maybe 40 if they were lucky. And then I heard how it was going to be a close race. I said, why is that? Why is that? I don't quite get that. But now the Republican Senate majority is working very hard to confirm my nominees, and we appreciate it. And with the help of this dream team cabinet, and we have so many others I won't bother mentioning, but you know every one of them, we're going to embark on the most exciting and successful period of reform and renewal in all of American history. We're going to do something that's going to be really, really special. You're going to be so happy. And as you know, I made a series of big day one promises in my campaign. You know them just as well as I do. And 29 days from now, I intend to keep those promises to the American people. And just as we did 4 years ago, my administration will live by the motto, promises made, promises kept. We did keep our promises. And there's a new hat, there's a brand new hat that's out. I saw it yesterday, the first time, and it's selling like hotcakes. It says, Trump was right about everything. And I don't want to brag, but we were right about just about everything, including foreign policy, these crazy wars that we're in. One of the things I want to do, and quickly, and President Putin said that he wants to meet with me as soon as possible. So we have to wait for this, but we have to end that war. That war is a horrible, the soldiers, the number of soldiers being killed, it's a flat plane, and the bullets are going, and there's powerful bullets, powerful guns, and the only thing that's going to stop them is a human body. They go dead flat land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Millions of soldiers have died now. Millions. We're seeing numbers that are just crazy. Got to stop it. It's ridiculous. Would have never happened if I was president. That war would have never happened. And October 7th, Israel would have never happened either. So much our country would be so different and the world would be so different. But it's not. So we have to make it great. We're going to make it great. We're going to do it as quickly as we can. On my first day back in the Oval Office, I will sign a historic slate of executive orders to close our border to illegal aliens and stop the invasion of our country. And on that same day, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. And as part of Operation Aurora, you know all about Aurora, how horrible that's been. Every single foreign gang and illegal alien member, all of this criminal network operating on American soil will be dismantled, deported, and destroyed. Going to get them out. Think of it. They sent their gang members to us. Busload after busload. We had an open border. They're gang members, they're drug dealers, they're drug addicts, people that were sick, people that were healthy and strong. What the hell was that? You get the little yips up here every once in a while. I wonder why. That was a strange sound. I've heard some very strange sounds. Every foreign gang member will be expelled, and I will immediately designate the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. We're going to do it immediately. And we'll unleash the full power of federal law enforcement, ICE, Border Patrol. How good is, by the way, how good is Tom Homan, right? He's phenomenal. I've known him a long time. I'll bet you Sheriff Joe likes Tom Homan, right? Sheriff Joe, yes? Yep. He goes, yep. The DEA, the FBI, the intelligence community, and financial sanctions to remove the migrant gangs and criminals that are killing and raping and maiming our citizens. We're going to get them out. We're going to get them out. We're going to get them out fast. We have no choice. We have no choice, by the way. I don't want to do that, but we have no choice. Last thing I want to do, could have been so much easier. The election wasn't rigged. It would have been a much different thing. But this will show something. This is going to show how we do it and how good we are. You know, we showed how the opposite philosophy runs a country, and it wasn't good. They had an approval rating today. It was 14%. Nobody's ever had an approval rating of 14. That's the lowest approval rating. And we're going to have a very high, in fact, we already have a very high approval rating. We're way up, way up, higher than almost anybody, higher than anybody as of this morning. We will end the occupation, and January 20th will truly be Liberation Day in America. Is that okay? Liberation Day. And this great liberation will be in honor of all of the victims of migrant crime and all of the angel moms and angel dads who have lost their really incredible kids that, you know, they're going around for years and years. And I talk to them all the time. I know so many of them. And many of them are here. And we can just say, we love you, we're with you. They had so little help from the politicians on the other side. We're joined today by Patty Morin, the mother of Rachel Morin, who you know all about, a beautiful mother of 5 who was murdered by an illegal alien monster who entered our country under the open border policies of the Biden administration. Your borders are always not too good. Your borders are, that was not Tom Homan, I can tell you. But Patty, those days are over, and they will soon be over. I hope we're just not going to have, how can you say never again, but we're going to have as few as possible. It's going to be rough, and it's going to be rough on the ones that do that kind of damage to you and to our country. Where is Patty? Is she here someplace? I just want to thank her. Hi, Patty. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Do you want to come up for a second, Patty? Huh? Do you want to come up? I had lunch with Patty, and she suffered greatly. I said, let me help you with your eyes, because I want to help her with her eyes. She has an eye situation that can be fixed with some medical help. Many of them can't be fixed. I said, Patty, get your eyes taken care of. I'll take care of it. Just get it done. I hope you got it done. Did you have them done yet? Did you have it done yet, Patty? That's great. Oh, you look good, Patty. Be careful. Did you have your eyes done yet, Patty? You get them done, okay?
January.
Oh, good, good. She's going to get them done in January. Good.
Thank you. Thank you. The first time I met President Trump in person, he invited us to lunch, my attorney and I. And to be honest, I didn't do anything. I just sat there. I didn't really speak because I wanted to watch the man and listen to what he had to say and what his conversation was like, because I knew he wasn't a politician, but I knew that he had been president before, and I wanted to see if he was a real, authentic man who actually cared for the American people. And so I watched him. I watched how he interacted. I also watched how much his staff really respected him and how much his staff loved working for him. But the thing that changed the way that I looked at him as a person was I realized that he was a dad, that he was a grandfather, and when you spoke to him, you could see in his eyes that he genuinely cared about his fellow human being. But the thing I appreciate the most is that he heard the cries of a mother. And he cared. And he made a promise that he was going to protect us and that he was going to help us. And that's all you can ask from your president, but also just from a fellow human being. And so I personally, I am so honored to know this man and to think of you as a friend.
Thank you very much. She's been through hell. Who wouldn't be? I mean, so many people, so many, I call them angel moms, and they go through hell. And many of them say it doesn't get any better, but we have to hope it does get better. Also with us is a very special guy, the president of the National Border Patrol Council, Paul Perez. He's incredible. He's doing a fantastic job, and he wants to do the job right. Hey, Paul, come on up here, Paul, quickly. Paul, in 1 month, the Patriots of Border Patrol will once again have a president who will back you and will have you, and we're going to work together as we have done in the past. You know, we had the safest border in the history of our country. And you remember the famous sign that I pulled down? That sign was about how good the border was. I haven't used that sign much lately. Well, we won, so I guess I don't have to use it, but we really do have to use it, because the fact is that we have to have strong, safe borders, and we have to have men like this and women who are doing an unbelievable job. I've gotten to know a lot of them. I'll tell you what, they're tougher than I am. I don't want to mess with them, right? But this man has done as the head, and also replacing a very good guy. We know that, right? And he's going to have a good life. I hope he's going to, because he was a very special guy, and you're a very special guy. Say a few words, please, Paul.
I mean, we're back. America is back. The strength and security that Donald Trump brings to the White House is what we've needed. He's done it before. He's going to do it again. We're going to make all of these communities safe. And like Tom Homan said, if you're not going to help, get the hell out of the way. Donald Trump is by far the best president in the history of this country, and he's going to show everybody exactly why. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul, and everybody, and Brandon Judd, and all of the people that do such an incredible job. We're also pleased to be joined by a man who just also, we really did well in Texas. And I heard Ted's speech. And he can come up and speak more if he wants, or he can just, you know, Ted's going to be going to a big event in a little while. Where's Ted Cruz? Is he here? He's here someplace. Ted? Ted? Oh, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. No, he was here. Oh, good. He's not in trouble.
Keep Texas, Texas. Amen. And I've got to say, this election has given President Donald J. Trump, a Republican Senate and a Republican House, a clear mandate to deliver on our promises. One month from today, President Trump will secure the border. We are going to bring back jobs. We are going to lower prices. We are going to protect American families. We are going to put criminals in jail. We are going to keep our kids safe. We are going to end foreign wars with victory. And I'll tell you, Mr. President, the results of this election, 7 battleground states, you won all 7. The people elected a Republican Senate and a Republican House to have your back, and we are going to deliver results. And if I can speak parochially for a minute, one of the most consequential things that happened in this race in Texas, you won profoundly in Texas, and both you and I won a majority of Hispanic votes in the great state of Texas. That is unprecedented. That is generational change, and it demonstrates that we are going to protect our nation. We are going to bring our country back, and we are going to make America great again.
He's actually a great guy. Was really out there working very. Oh, I'm so glad he was here. Oh, that was an amazing moment. But we want to thank him. He had a great race and did a fantastic job against like 250 million spent against him. But Texas was very special, and it will remain very special. It's doing really excellent people, great people. And the governor's doing a fantastic job in Texas. Your senator, and Dan Patrick, and everybody's doing, Attorney General. Also, I want to bring up, if I could, or just say hello to him. He's on the outskirts, because you got a lot of people in this room. You got a lot more people outside than you have in the room. The RNC chairman, Michael Watley, who was so fantastic in what he did with Laura. The two of them were so great. Where's Michael? Come on up, Michael. Come here. This guy did some job.
Thank you very much. It takes three things to win in a battleground state. Number one, you got to get out the vote. Number two, you got to protect the ballot. And number three, you have to have a great candidate who runs a great race. The people in this room helped us get out the vote. They helped us protect the ballot. We would not have been able to win all those battleground states without you. But when it comes to having a great candidate who runs a great race, there is simply nobody better ever than the 45th and now 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. He really has, and Laura have done an incredible job. What a pleasure. They were fighting. They had so many lawyers. They were fighting the enemy like you wouldn't believe. I mentioned Tom Homan, but special, he's going to do so well. And a friend of mine who I haven't seen in a little while, Matt Gaetz, is here. Where's Matt? He's around here someplace. Matt Gaetz. He's got a big career set up. And just want to say hello to Matt. And Arizona GOP Chair Gina Swoboda. Wow, she is very, Gina, where's Gina? Because we're going to be backing Gina to run again. There she is, Gina. Gina, are you going to run again? Yes? Because if you do, you have my endorsement. So that should be good. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Great job you've done. A great professional golfer, a friend of mine. He's really a good golfer. Tom Pernice is here someplace. Tom, wherever you may be. Hello, Tom. Don't play him in golf. Play him in other things, but not golf. Trish Dugan is here, who is just a fantastic. Where is Trish? She's one of my great friends. Thank you very much. Has she helped? Trish has helped us so at a level that very few people can even dream of. So I want to thank you very much. Trish Duggan, please. Thanks. Where's Trish? Thank you, Trish. I think I see Carrie Lake. Is that Carrie Lake? Yes. Hi, Carrie. Stand up, Carrie. Hi. Hi. Good job. Worked hard. She's a good woman, and she's going to be doing something very big, maybe bigger. It's a big one that you have, so good luck with it. You're going to do well. Going to turn that around like nobody ever saw before, so thank you very much for accepting it. Sergio Gore, a friend of mine who's doing a fabulous job leading the presidential personnel. He's really working hard. Where's Sergio? He's around here someplace. Sergio, where is he? Hi, Sergio. Good job you're doing. We have some big announcements over the next few days, too, big ones. A great actor has been with us for a long time when it wasn't fashionable. Rob Schneider. Rob. He was here with a few of his friends when it wasn't quite as fashionable, right, Rob? But you were here. Thank you very much. Great job you're doing, too. Karen Robeson. Where is Karen? Karen is here, and I hear, running for governor. She's going to be running for governor. Where's Karen? Hi, Karen. Hello, Karen. Are you running for governor? I think so, Karen, because if you do, you're going to have my support, okay? You're going to have my support. A man that is very non-controversial, a very unique, he really is a unique person, but he doesn't like controversy. His name is Steve Bannon. Has anyone ever heard of him? Where's Steve? Hello. Hi, Steve. A big, powerful voice he's got. His show is phenomenal. War Room. And thank you, Steve. There's nobody like Steve. Thank you very much, Steve. And a Phoenix police officer who was shot 8 times in the line of duty, Tyler Moldovan, who I just saw backstage. Where's Tyler? Oh, he's got to be right there. There he is. Hi, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. Hi, Tyler. Wow. Thank you, Tyler. Eight times. Can you believe that? Think of that. 8 times, and he's looking great. Thank you very much. And to your family, beautiful wife. With the stroke of my pen on day 1, we're going to stop the transgender lunacy. And I will sign executive orders to end child sexual mutilation, get transgender out of the military and out of our elementary schools and middle schools and high school. And we will keep men out of women's sports. And that will likewise be done on day 1. Should I do day 1, day 2, or day 3? How about day 1, right? Under the Trump administration, it will be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female. Doesn't sound too complicated, does it? To rescue our economy, I will sign day 1 orders to end all Biden restrictions on energy production, terminate his insane electric vehicle mandate, cancel his natural gas export ban, reopen Anwar in Alaska, the biggest site potentially anywhere in the world, and declare a national energy emergency. And do we have great people in energy? Head of energy, Chris Wright, and Doug Burgum is the interior. And I merged both of them. You know, the energy had no energy. It just had the right to do energy. And interior had all the energy, but it didn't have the right to drill. So I merged them. And they're great friends. They're both very talented people. We're going to have so much oil and gas and other things, you won't know what to do with it. You'll say, please, President Trump, stop. We have too much. The prices are going too low, sir. Remember, we were $1.84 a gallon gasoline. Wouldn't that be nice? I will direct every cabinet secretary to cut 10 old regulations for every new regulation, which I did last time. We'll be getting rid of a lot of. Last term, for me, we did something special. We cut more regulations by 4 times than any other president in history, and we're going to top that record. Some of those ridiculous regulations were immediately put back on, and they were just hurting our country. That's why we had the best job numbers ever, because of what we did with regulation. You know, we cut taxes more than any president in history, and we cut regulations more than any president in history. And when I asked the people that run the big companies, which is more important, cutting the taxes or cutting the regulations, every single one of them so far has said the regulations were more important for jobs and everything else. Who would think that? but I will order federal workers to get back to the office in person or be terminated from the job immediately. And we will create the new Department of Government Efficiency headed by Elon Musk. And no, he's not taking the presidency. I like having smart people. You know, they're on a new kick. Russia, 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 Ukraine, 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 all the different hoaxes. And the new one is, President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening. But Elon's done an amazing job. Isn't it nice to have smart people that we can rely on? Right? Don't we want that? He's done a great job. And I'll tell you, he landed that rocket a few months ago. It landed, it's coming down so fast, 17,000 miles an hour, he says, and coming down, it looks like it's getting ready. And then all of a sudden, the jets go on, it slows it down, then it's almost stopped it. And it guides it over left, right, up, high, down. I said, what the hell's going on? Because nobody ever saw this before. And then it has the big gantry, very expensive. It looks like it's going to be smashed to smithereens. And then those jet engines roared from the bottom. It's coming in this way, a little hot. And the engines, pushed it straight. It landed. And it was like you're hugging a beautiful baby. Baby. No, not that baby. But it was the most incredible thing. And then he got into his car and/or plane or whatever, however he went, and he went to Pennsylvania, and he stayed up there for a month and helped us to win that state, which we won by a lot. So he was really good. And he supplied Starlink for North Carolina when they had no form of communication. They said, sir, do you know Elon Musk? Yeah. Well, we can't get Starlink. It's very hard to get. And I called Elon, we have to get some up there. You got to get some up there. And he got over 2,000 units. That's a lot. And they flooded it with Starlink, and it was so good. It saved a lot of lives, so we want to thank him. But no, he's not going to be president, that I can tell you. And I'm safe. You know why? He can't be. He wasn't born in this country. But the fake news knows that. No, he's a great guy, and we want to have him. Everybody, so many people are in this audience that have helped. So to an extent that you wouldn't believe, but we're going to bring transparency and accountability back to our government, and we'll be very soon, you're going to see it drain the swamp. We're going to be draining that swamp at levels never seen before. And I hope everybody goes home and reads the congressional report on the criminal activities of the Unselect Committee of Political Thugs, J6 Committee. What they did is so illegal. And Congress has done a fantastic job on that. They just put out a report. They call it an interim report. It's brutal. On them, not on me, on them. And it's terrible. What they've done to this country is just absolutely terrible. But we'll end the left's campaign of racial discrimination and restore equality to our land and all over our land. And you see that happening so much with the vote and the kind of vote we got. Nobody ever expected anything like that. And I'll end all of the Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies across the entire federal government immediately. And at the same time, we will ban these unlawful policies from we're going to ban them from the private sector as well. In America, we believe in the merit system. The merit system. And now, because of the major decision handed down recently by the Supreme Court, our country has again gone back to the merit system. That's what made our country great. And I want to just thank the Supreme Court, because that took a great deal of courage for them to do that. And some people were surprised by it, but that's what made us great. Merit made us great. I will direct our military to begin construction of the great Iron Dome missile defense shield, which will be made all in the USA, much of it right here in Arizona. You know, Ronald Reagan wanted to do it many, many years ago, but they didn't really have the technology. It's lucky that he didn't, because they didn't, but they have it now. He can knock a needle out of the sky. And as Commander-in-Chief, I will restore the proud and historic names of our great military bases like Fort Bragg. We're going to get them back. And woke has to stop, because along with everything else, it's destroying our country. We're going to stop woke. Woke is bullshit. As an example, in addition to the military bases, I understand they want to now rename 14 ships. We want to rename them. Some of these ships have had a great and glorious past. They want to take the name off and put another name down. Oh, I can imagine whose name they're going to put up. Not going to happen with me. It's not happening with me, I can promise you that. The actions I have described today are just a small preview of the common sense revolution, because that's what I call it, a common sense revolution that's coming soon to America, to a theater near you, right? But it's coming to you through your president, Donald J. Trump. The people have given us their trust, and in return, we're going to give them the best day one, the biggest first week, and the most extraordinary first 100 days of any president in American history. And in conclusion, on January 20th, the United States will turn the page forever on 4 long, horrible years of failure, incompetence, national decline, and we will inaugurate a new era of peace, prosperity, and national greatness. It's going to be national greatness. It will be something very, very special. And you could use a little of that, because you haven't seen any of it in 4 years. What's happened to our country is so sad. We're going to cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories roaring back to America and right back here to Arizona. Because when I agreed to do this, and I had to do it for Charlie, because he's special, but I said, Charlie, I'll do it, but this has to be also a real tribute to Arizona, because they gave us such a big win. And I said, I'll get in my plane at 4:45 in the morning, and I'll fly here, but we have to really acknowledge and take care of the people of Arizona, because you were fantastic. And I just want to thank you for that big win. Not an easy win. And we're going to build American, we're going to buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent, I promise, World War III. And we're very close to World War III. We will crush violent crime. We're going to stop violent crime. We're going to have to be tough. Please get ready. You're going to have to be tough. We can't let this happen. Our cities are crumbling. And give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. And I rebuilt our entire military at a level that it had never been. Unfortunately, we gave a big chunk of it to Afghanistan. You believe that one? What a terrible thing. But we will again rebuild those sections of our military that have been so badly hurt. Plus, we give so much of it away. You know, when I came in the last time, we had no ammunition. Can you believe it? I was greeted with a general, sir, we're very low, almost no ammunition. I said, keep it quiet. Let's not let the enemy know that. That doesn't sound too good. Steve Bannon would say that's not a good thing. No ammunition is not good, right, Steve? And I built so much ammunition so fast. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We give a lot of our ammunition away, as you know. And we have to take care of ourselves. We have to protect ourselves. And we have to make our country great. We just can't keep doing what we're doing. Especially when these wars never had to start. They never had to start. We will rebuild our once great cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again, and we'll do it quickly. We'll teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools, and we're going to get it out of our schools very fast. I will defend religious liberty, I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. And after years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. We're going to protect our citizens. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. It's going to stop. You're not going to have an invasion of our country any longer. That will stop in just a few very short weeks. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation again, a nation led by competent people, a nation that we can be proud of. We're going to be so proud of our nation. We already are. It's already happened. Remember what I said. There's new light all over the world, not just here. All over the world. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. And will be filled with a thing called the American dream. You can have the American dream back. For the past 9 years, you and I fought side by side against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. And in our magnificent victory on November 5th, you showed them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. That's what happened. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And in 2024, it was hardworking patriots like you who turned out and voted and saved our country. That's what happened. After all we have been through together, we now stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. We're going to make these the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. With your help, we will restore America's promise. We will rebuild the nation that we love, and we will do it very, very fast. That's what we want. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever, ever, ever surrender. Together we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. We're going to win a lot. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. And thank you, Arizona. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you all.
Kirk family, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here at AmFest this year.
On behalf of Turning Point, thank you so much for being a part of this historic event, and thank you for all your efforts in saving our country this election cycle. Merry Christmas, safe travels, and God bless.
God bless you guys.
Just fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay.